Do it to the computer. Okay, cool. All right. Welcome.
Welcome.
Okay, what are we covering today in this class? So, we'll be talking about the whole piece of Mercury in retrograde. We'll be talking about just Mercury in retrograde. What is it? Why does it exist from an astronomical point and an astrological point? Just so it's easier to learn when we know all the pieces. And then we're going to talk about Cancer and the medicine of Cancer and what the energy of the sign of Cancer is. And then we're going to talk about Mercury retrograde in Cancer for this entire transit, specifically what's going on, what does it mean? What are the tarot cards that correspond to the transit that we're going to be having, as well as the Tree of Life? So we're going to be looking at the Bina on the Tree of Life, the archangel that is associated with that particular part on the Tree of Life, as well as the Tree of Life is similar to the chakra system. So we'll be talking about the third eye and the yin aspect of that. And then we are going to jump into specific like rising sign readings. So we're going to go over each rising sign and where this particular transit will show up in your chart. And then if you have already submitted your information, we'll like throw you in as we go. So like if we're on the Capricorn rising and you're a Capricorn rising, then we'll pull up your chart and we'll be like, okay, here's all the things that you need to know. And then we'll end with a meditation to help you kind of like alchemize everything. And just get like you'll get the Reiki meditation. So it'll be another layer, not just a learning class, but also an experiencing and a healing portion. So yeah, I'm really excited for all of these pieces. We have a lot to cover.
Beautiful. Yeah, this Mercury retrograde, in reflection of it, I was really feeling into it being this portal of emotional remembrance, deep intuition, ancestral healing, and deeper layers of understanding, because that's what we do during Mercury retrogrades. We take the time to reflect. So let's jump into opening the circle space. So for this, we're gonna do just a really quick meditative experience. So you're welcome to lie down if you want to, or just get really cozy and comfy in your chair as we open the circle space. Hmm.
Hmm.
So gently close your eyes and allow your body to soften. Allow your breath to deepen. In this moment, allow yourself to fully and completely relax into this space. In this circle, we will return to the waters of the soul. I invite you now to take a deep, slow breath in and exhale softly, breathing in presence and exhaling the noise of the outside world. In this circle, we deepen our awareness of Mercury retrograde in Cancer, a transit of memory, emotion, intuition, ancestral wisdom, and sacred reflection. This circle is an invitation to choose to enter a relationship with Mercury retrograde consciously. This is a choice to slow down enough to hear what the soul has been whispering beneath the surface of our busy lives. And I want to honor you for choosing to be here in person, or if you are watching the replay. In this circle, we open ourselves to Mercury medicine, the ancient psychopomp Mercury, the bridge walker, the messenger between worlds, the guide between the conscious and the subconscious mind. May Mercury help us communicate with greater emotional honesty. May Mercury help us retrieve the wisdom hidden inside of our memories. May Mercury help us recognize the stories we are ready to rewrite. And as Mercury moves through the sacred waters of Cancer, we invite in Cancer medicine, the medicine of softness, the medicine of feeling, the medicine of emotional truth, the medicine of the Divine Mother, the medicine that reminds us that healing happens through deep safety. So may this space become a safe vessel for every emotion arising, every memory, every realization, every grief, every longing, every intuitive knowing. And we call upon the wisdom of the Three of Cups now, the sacred card of connection, emotional witnessing, and soul remembrance. May this circle become a place where we remember we do not heal alone. May we see ourselves reflected lovingly in one another. May authentic connection dissolve shame and awaken belonging. May the waters of community become our medicine. And as we move deeper into the mysteries, we honor the wisdom of the Four of Cups, the sacred pause, the inward gaze, the emotional reevaluation that occurs when we truly allow nourishment. May we release the need to emotionally meet any expectations. May we release the pressure to have all of the answers. May we allow silence, stillness, and reflection to reveal deeper truth. In this circle, we also open the gates of Bina upon the tree of life, the great sea, the mother, the womb of understanding, the sacred chamber where wisdom takes form through surrender, grief, and intuition. Bina teaches us that true wisdom is felt, embodied, and softened by compassion. May Bina help us transform emotional pain into deeper understanding. May Bina help us become vessels capable of holding more love, more truth, and more soul. And we lovingly invite in the presence of Archangel Zachiel, keeper of sacred understanding, divine listening, contemplation, spiritual maturity, and the deep cosmic waters. May Zachiel wrap this circle in wisdom and protection. May they help us hear the voice beneath the noise. May they help us access the intelligence hidden within our emotional body. May they guide us into deeper compassion and self-awareness. May only energies aligned with love, truth, healing, and divine wisdom enter this circle. And so together as souls gathered across timelines and experiences, we open this celestial circle. May this be a space of remembrance, a space of emotional honesty, a space of healing. And we'll take one more final breath in. Beautiful breath, filling our lungs with love. And a big exhale out. And when you're ready, softly and gently open your eyes. The circle is now open. So, as you're coming back from opening the circle, if you'd like to put in the chat how you are feeling after opening the circle, we'd love to hear.
Yeah. Mm. Very relaxing. Calm.
Yay.
Yay. Cozy.
Cozy, such Cancerian medicine. Calm and cozy. Oh. Yay.
All right. So I skipped past the page. Overview of Mercury retrograde in general. So let's get into it. So, okay, before we dive into the specifics of Cancer retrograde, let's slow down and really talk about what Mercury retrograde actually is, because this transit gets often misunderstood, as you can see from these series of memes that I have gathered quickly from a Google search on the internet.
Mercury Gatorade.
Obviously, the very famous now Mercury's in Gatorade. So at this point, Mercury has become a cultural meme. It's very misunderstood. People blame it for everything from bad text, delayed flights, technological glitches, emotional chaos, exes returning, and of course, the classic miscommunication. This is another one, Mercury's in the microwave. That's a very common one. I like this retrosexual when you
Oh
hook
my
up with your
God.
ex during a Mercury
Wait, what does this
retrograde.
one say? Are little things covering it?
When you
Oh
wake
my
up and
God.
realize it's Mercury
Very much
retrograde.
Jon Snow. Yeah.
Um, and while yes, those things can happen during a Mercury in retrograde, it's more than just like an inconvenience. It's much deeper than that. These are more of like side effects of these things from what the true meaning is. So we're going to cover like why does that happen? Does one experience that? Not just like congrats, everything's going to be ruined. You're just going to have horrible stuff happen to you. That's not the vibe, but I feel like there's a lot of like fear mongering and stuff around Mercury retrograde. Really what it's asking us is to become more conscious in our collective mental body more than anything. So if you're not conscious of it, maybe that's why you're having these things happen. We'll go over all of it. Okay. So what actually is Mercury retrograde? So this is the astronomy piece, right? So I just wanted to have a sort of visualization because it's a little bit hard to like explain. It's actually an optical illusion. Mercury does not move forward. Planets cannot, or move backward. Planets cannot like move backward. They don't just slip back into this piece. What actually is happening is the orbit of the Earth around the sun takes much longer than the orbit of Mercury around the sun. So it kind of like if you're thinking about a race, it's like lapping you and doubling back. So it appears like it's going backwards because it has already moved past and gone to another spot that's behind you at this point. So that's kind of what we're seeing is that loop. The green part here is the retrograde, what we think and see as that optical illusion of it going backwards. It's actually just moving in a sort of like circular tilt pattern. And I have um this as well, which will help because I know we posted a lot about these dates and things. So, what is Mercury direct? What is Mercury pre-shadow? What is Mercury retrograde? And what is Mercury going back direct? What is Mercury post-shadow? So, this is all the astronomy pieces of the timing of it all. So, you can see in this chart, we start here on the right. Mercury enters pre-shadow at that arrow with the blue dot. So this basically means it's moving towards the pieces, towards the degrees that it will eventually retrograde back into. So the pre-shadow just means it's moving through the exact degrees of the zodiac that it will retrace backward during the actual retrograde. What is the retrograde? So basically, any planet can have a retrograde, not just Mercury. A retrograde is it's in terms of how many days it takes for a planet to orbit around the sun. So Mercury only takes 88 Earth days to orbit around the sun, which means it will occasionally overlap and create that illusion of moving backwards. Not occasionally, but 3 to 4 times a year. So if you divide 365 days by 88 days, you get 4.1. So this is why it's like 3 to 4 times a year. It's just a mathematical equation, really, of how long it takes to orbit versus the earthly time that we experience things as on our planet. So that's really what it means is when it's kind of like overlapping the Earth and the viewing angle changes because the in the next slide you'll see the plane that the orbits are not they're not all on the same plane. Some of them are like skewed off and things like that. So I'll show you in the next one. So, post shadow is when Mercury regains speed and retraces the exact zodiacal degrees it previously moved backwards through. So, we can see that post shadow in that like brownish color. Um, so that's pretty much what it is. So this is kind of the part where we allow the integration of lessons, where we finalize our decisions, where we clean up lingering messages. So even though we're clear and Mercury's in the direct, sometimes people get more hit by the pre-shadow and the post-shadow than the actual retrograde itself. Because maybe you were able to move through the things that happened in the retrograde, but then in the integration phases, when you're like, oh, like I'm really struggling with this, like now that I have to implement it, that's hard for me. Um, so another visual for you. This is the sun in the middle, Earth orbiting around, and Mercury's on this tilt. So that's why we get that optical illusion of moving backwards when it's like doubling because it's a smaller orbit. It only takes 88 days to orbit. So that hopefully makes a little more sense as to like why this happens. It's not just a random occurrence that, the gods are like punishing us or something like that. It's actually just like, hey, every planet has a specific orbit time, and based on that orbit time around the sun is how long we get the retrograde and how many times a year we get the retrograde. Yes. So energetically, Mercury retrograde symbolizes reversal, reflection, review, revisiting, recalibration, reorienting, re-everything. We're not starting new things. We are re-experiencing, revisiting. So this is that kind of energy of now that it's retrograding, it's a time for me to reflect, look back and ponder about what happened. That's where the illusion of going backwards kind of like makes sense for us and why often people think of it that way because our minds are kind of going back in time and looking at things that have already been created. We're not creating new things because we're like retracing our steps here. Where am I? So Mercury governs over communication, thinking, perception, learning, travel, technology, contracts, conversations, storytelling, and our memory. So we can see Mercury is responsible for a lot in our life. So that's why when we have the retrograde, all of these unforeseen issues and snafus have the potential to come up. Um, when Mercury appears to move backward, our inner world tends to move backward, and we become less externally linear and more internally reflective. This is why Mercury retrograde periods can be kind of strange and feel weird because our psyche is being invited to turn inward. And one thing, I think I have this in another slide. Yes. That's really important to understand is that the ancient astrologers did not view retrogrades as bad, like how the current zeitgeist of them just kind of, oh, everything's shitty. I need
Yeah.
something to blame it on. Um, in many mystical traditions, retrogrades were considered sacred periods of divination, reevaluation, and receiving insight from the unseen realms.
Yes.
Because when a planet slows down, it symbolizes or its symbolism becomes louder, right? You're not just moving forward quickly, especially Mercury is so quick and just do everything, and then it's like slowing down, like that kind of energy. So when you are speaking, I don't know, this is a bad example, but like if you're speaking slowly to someone, you're trying to become louder. You're like, I need you to focus on this one thing. That's kind of what's happening in our minds. So it becomes more concentrated. So think about how life feels when you finally stop moving long enough to hear your own thoughts. That's kind of what we're doing. That's the retrograde energy. And, the Gen Z people call it slow maxing, right? We are maxing out on going slow. Um, so Mercury retrograde invites us to pause, unconscious momentum, and ask ourselves, is the way I'm thinking, communicating, and moving through life aligned with my soul?
So Mercury rules systems of connection, all systems of connection. So during retrogrades, we often become aware of where communication has been unclear, where we've made assumptions, where we've rushed, where we've ignored details, where we've abandoned our own intuition, or where something just wasn't built on a solid, stable foundation. So Mercury retrograde can reveal what was unstable. It's like the universe slowing the conveyor belt down so we can notice what needs attention. And we need that. We need the time for review, for reflection. So this is why, missed emails can happen, like technology glitches can arise, plans can shift, old emotions can resurface, people from the past can reappear, and misunderstandings just become more obvious during Mercury retrograde. So spiritually, Mercury retrograde periods are often a reclamation period, a revival period, a remembering period. It's a time where we reflect on something that we may have missed during Mercury direct. So that something could be a truth, it could be a feeling, it could be a boundary, it could be a grief, it could be an idea, it could be a dream, or it could be a wound, a pain point. Mercury retrograde often brings us back into unfinished conversations with life to free us from this unconscious repetition so we can start to witness our patterns and heal them. So, one of the most famous Mercury retrograde themes is people from our past returning. This is why we see all the memes about the exes coming back. But it makes perfect sense with this transit. Because again, Mercury governs over connection and communication. So retrogrades reopen energetic pathways. So
Hmm.
old friends, lovers, clients, deeper memories, and unresolved emotional themes can resurface during Mercury retrograde. So sometimes the purpose of this is closure. Sometimes it's just clarity, understanding, forgiveness, pattern recognition, or just seeing yourself differently than you did before when you were in that relationship dynamic. And that can be a healing thing. Retrogrades are mirrors, so they reveal our deeper evolution. This is why we're doing the celestial circle now. This is why it's so important for us to consciously work with the energy of Mercury retrograde.
Hmm.
So these cycles, again, are incredible for reviewing, revising, reorganizing, reconnecting, reflecting, reclaiming, restoring, and recalibrating. All the re's, as Love said earlier. So it is so important for us to slow down, to listen deeply, to double check the details. That's really important, to edit our creative projects, to review our creative projects, to revisit old ideas. It's a great time to heal communication patterns and to reconnect with our intuition. So, Mercury retrograde rewards mindfulness. So, the slower and more conscious that you can become during this transit, the more wisdom that will be revealed to you. So, some practical ways to work with Mercury retrograde in Cancer: slow down your communication. Again, we're going to keep saying this. It's like slow down. It's super important. Read your messages twice, read your emails twice. Clarify any assumptions. Ask people what they meant instead of just reacting immediately. Be patient with scheduling, rescheduling. Leave extra time for travel. That's a really, really big one. Retrogrades tend to expose timing issues and
Hmm.
logistical blind spots. So back up important technology. Three exclamation period marks I put behind that. Back up the important things that you need.
Yeah.
Another great thing that you can do is journal, vent in your voice notes. Again, be reflective. Mercury retrogrades bring subconscious material to the surface for healing. So
Mhm.
notice repeating themes. If the same issue just keeps on resurfacing, The retrograde is trying to show you something with this repeated pattern. So it's a great time to revisit these abandoned dreams. As retrogrades, they often reactivate soul paths that perhaps in the past we just gave up on or the timing wasn't right yet.
Hmm.
And please, this is so important. Please hear me when I say this. Rest your nervous system. Many people become so mentally overstimulated during retrogrades
Yeah.
because the subconscious, like so much subconscious information is moving through the field.
Yeah.
So please remember to rest and please remember that Mercury retrograde is not this cosmic curse. Like that's really important to remember. It's not a cosmic curse. It's not a reason to panic or to blame everything on. And it's not a transit that removes your free will. So you can still sign contracts consciously,
Yeah.
travel consciously, launch things consciously, and communicate consciously.
Yeah. Just double check
Yeah,
everything, really look it over. If you're gonna do like a contract with someone, really dot all your T's,
yeah.
cross all your I's,
All the details, the
cross all your
little
T's, dot all
details.
your I's. Yeah, and I want to say too,
Yeah.
if you're like more psychic or you tend to like connect to collective energies, the nervous system piece is really important because if you think about like how many people exist in the world that maybe aren't very practiced or used to slowing down and being conscious with their own thoughts and dealing with their own things and like even just like self-reflecting and being self-aware, a lot of people in our modern time aren't really used to that. So if you're psychic or if you're highly connected to someone else energetically, you might be experiencing the overflow of their thoughts, their feelings, the collective thoughts, the collective feelings, right? So it's okay if you're feeling that. It's about grounding in your nervous system. It doesn't mean like, this is my job. I'm supposed to do this. Why am I feeling this? I'm the one that's supposed to single-handedly solve all these problems. No, it just means like there's a lot of stray energy. Like think about it as like, just things floating around, particles in the air, and then they might bump into you, and you might be like, whoa, what was that? So just use your discernment during this time, and that's why it's important to like reflect a lot and question a lot. Because then you can say like, is what I'm feeling like just the collective vibe right now? Because there are so many energies going on, right? We have other transits really making a lot of noise, especially Uranus and Gemini is just really noisy and chaotic. We have so many competing ideologies, different things to look at in the world. There's all these tragedies and things going on. So really slow down and be like, is what I'm feeling a collective piece that maybe I'm connected to and I'm a part of, or it's just an energy that I'm connected to as a person who feels deeply, who's connected to the world around them? Do I need to ground and move that out? Do I want to do something for the collective to help shift it? And is this my own thing? Is it my friend's thing, my partner's thing? I want to say, because I feel like a lot of people just in psychic spaces, if they tap into something, they feel obligated. Like, oh, that must be for me. And that's where we need to learn to use our discernment. Like, even if something is resurfacing for your Mercury retrograde for your personal life, like, what do I want to do with this? Like if an old dream resurfaces, maybe it's not, you need to do this dream. Maybe it's like, let's dissect it and understand and find the new dream that is born out of the ashes of this one, right? Like, it's very case by case, but I just wanted to give you all permission. Like, you don't have to just take it word for word, because we're discovering clarity through this transit. So it might not be always apparent. We can just note it, put it down, see how you feel over the next day or two, see if more information comes up, and then decide what you want to do with it.
100%. That is truly the beauty of slowing down to
Oh,
listen, to
sorry.
reviewing, like, yeah, like what you're saying with an old dream, to review it and to listen
Yeah.
deeper. So, the invitation for this Mercury retrograde, very, very simply, not just this Mercury retrograde, but all Mercury retrogrades, because, like we said, it is very common. We get them 3 or 4 times a year. It's just simply greater awareness and intentionality.
Yeah.
So, this was a lot of information for the overview of Mercury retrograde in Cancer, but I would love to hear in the chat any key takeaways that you have, a practical way that you'll be working with Mercury retrograde, something that stood out to you. And
Or
if
any
you,
questions
yeah,
you
I was
have.
gonna say, if you have any questions, because there's a lot. So,
Yeah, because that's just generally Mercury
yeah,
retrograde. So like every retrograde
yep,
carries those pieces. Now we're gonna get into the Cancer
yep. We
piece.
haven't even gotten into the Cancer themes.
Yeah, so
It's
if
a
you want to put
lot.
in the chat anything that comes to mind, if you have any questions, if you're all good, maybe a thumbs up or something. Cool, we got a heart from Flora. Yee! Hearts. Yee! I love all the emoji things we can do now on here. Okay, cool. Let's
Yay,
move.
everyone's feeling good with that. Cool.
So, Mercury retrograde in Cancer, and then the tarot correspondences. So, this is an emotionally potent Mercury retrograde. It follows the water-filled storyline of the retrograde story in 2026. So, in case you were not aware, maybe you are, earlier in 2026, we already had Pisces, Mercury retrograde. We are now going to have in the summer Cancer, Mercury retrograde, and then in the fall, we will have Scorpio, Mercury retrograde. So this year, 2026, Mercury is going to be retrograding throughout all three of the water signs in the zodiac. And normally, when we experience a retrograde, it starts in one sign and then retrogrades back into another sign. So usually we're getting like a mix of two energies. So I find like this year is very different, and I feel the universe is speaking very loudly that we all need to get really right with our emotional communication in 2026 because
Yes.
she has said, no, you will be fully experiencing only Pisces, only Cancer, and only Scorpio for these retrogrades. It will not be a mix of two signs. So that I feel is very telling and very important. Um, this one is a retrograde of memory, emotional truth, ancestral feeling, and stories living inside the nervous system. So this retrograde moves entirely through the sign of Cancer, the sign of the womb, the inner child, emotional safety, nourishment, lineage, intuition, and belonging. And because it's moving through the second and third decans of Cancer, we're going to be working with two specific archetypal frequencies. The second decan of Cancer is traditionally associated with Mercury and the Three of Cups. And then the third decan of Cancer is traditionally associated with the Moon and the Four of Cups. And we did talk about decans in one of our previous classes, so I have this beautiful graphic here. The decans is like the little like sections within a zodiacal sign. So in Western astrology, a sign goes from 0 degrees here, where the hopefully you can see my cursor, all the way down to 30 degrees or 29 is
29,
what
yep.
they,
Mhm.
0 is the first degree kind of. And so it's just split into thirds. So the first 10 degrees is the first decan.
Zero to
This,
nine,
yeah,
yep.
0 to 9, and then it's like 10 to like 19
19.
is the
Hmm.
second decan, and then 20 to 29 is the third decan. So while this is retrograding, it will be moving through the second decan and the third decan of Cancer. So those are each decan has a tarot card that corresponds with it, which we do have a whole class on that if you're interested in it. Um, okay, let me get back to my notes. Okay, so this retrograde begins with emotional conversation and remembrance and moves us towards emotional discernment and soul level reevaluation. So there's a sacred emotional maturation happening here. So the timeline for this particular Mercury retrograde will enter the shadow period June 12th, 2026 at 16 degrees of Cancer, which is the second decan. Mercury stations retrograde June 29 at 26 degrees of Cancer, the third decan, and then it will experience a Mercury cazimi on July 12 at 20 degrees Cancer, and we'll talk about what a cazimi is in a few slides. So don't worry if you're like,
Hmm.
what the heck is that? And then Mercury will station direct on July 23rd at 16 degrees Cancer. So it's kind of like back at the starting point of the pre-shadow, like we talked about. And then the post-shadow, it will leave the shadow August 6th at 26 degrees Cancer. So you can see it's all this like 16 through 26 kind of energies. Okay. Okay, what's important here is that begins its shadow in the Mercury ruled decan and retrogrades back from the moon ruled decan. So, energetically, we're revisiting conversations, emotional bonds, friendships, family dynamics, intuitive memories, grief, nourishment patterns, and emotional habits that formed long ago. Cancer, as the crab, doesn't really move linearly. If you ever watch a crab move, they move like side to side. They kind of do like a zigzag pattern. Like if you've ever done like skiing or snowboarding, we sometimes move in a zigzag pattern. So it's never in a straight line, essentially. So Cancer moves with emotional association and deep feeling. Don't be surprised if old memories suddenly surface, dreams become vivid, you think about childhood memories, old friends or past lovers return, family themes resurface, and your body begins speaking louder than your mind. Cancer remembers as the sign that holds the past, nostalgia, the memory keepers. So this one will be more of the past coming through than a normal Mercury retrograde is kind of what we're trying to drive the point home
Yeah.
is like it's like times two. It's like Mercury retrograde invites the past to visit us, but Cancer rules over the past in the zodiacal system. So it's going to be very the past, right? And it might be the
Yes.
past in your life, it might be the past in your family, right? Because Cancer rules over family ancestry. Yeah. Okay. So the portion of the second decan. So this is the card that rules over the second decan. So it's the Three of Cups. It carries the frequency of emotional communication, reunion, sisterhood, and memory sharing. As you can see, it's these three people, and they're kind of like celebrating, rejoicing together. It's a very communal, friend, celebration kind of energy. So the Three of Cups is often seen as celebration, but it can be spiritually much deeper than that. It's more about emotional witnessing, right? It's feeling safe in the expression of any emotion. When we want to come together with our friends and celebrate, we're sharing, we're being vulnerable, we're opening our things that we care that are near and dear to us to other people, and we're asking them to join us in those feelings, right? So it's nurturance through honesty. This part of the retrograde may bring reconnection with soul family, conversations that heal old wounds. Like maybe you're like, hey, and then like randomly you bring up this thing with your friend. You're like, wow, I didn't even know I needed that conversation, but that was great. Emotional truths surfacing in friendships, revisiting creative collaborations, ancestral stories emerging, or realizations around emotional codependency in community. And because Mercury is the ruler of this decan, words become deeply charged. So because we're in a Mercury retrograde going through a Mercury ruled decan, it's going to be very, like times two again, very mercurial, right? So the kind of communication, this is the kind of communication that unlocks old emotional timelines. You may notice people accidentally revealing how they really feel. You may notice yourself no longer able to suppress an emotional truth. And I think I forgot to do that page, but there it is.
Yay. All the things about the second decan.
Yeah, so that's from where are we starting at? So that's gonna be like June 12 to
It begins
like
to shadow.
yeah, to like June not 29 per se, but like a couple days before that, probably you'll be experiencing that second decan.
Well, June 29th, we're in the
Mm,
fourth decan, and then it'll retrograde back.
That's what I'm saying. So it's
Yeah.
like it'll be the second decan starting here till probably a few days before this, then it'll move into the third decan, then it'll come back. So you'll have it in the beginning, in the pre-shadow, and then during the actual retrograde, you'll probably feel these Three of Cups themes twice, is what I'm trying to say. Okay.
So historically, Mercury retrogrades in Cancer, they often coincide with collective emotional processing around themes of homeland, family, collective grief, nostalgia, that's a really big one, food systems, housing, motherhood, memory, and emotional security. So, for example, during past Mercury retrogrades in Cancer, conversations around national identity, immigration, housing instability, and collective grief have intensified during Mercury retrograde in Cancer. So emotional public reactions tend to become amplified because Cancer rules the collective emotional body. So these periods often bring the resurfacing of buried emotional truths, both personally, culturally, and collectively. So Cancer retrogrades tend to reveal what we emotionally have avoided sustaining. And because Cancer rules the past, these retrogrades frequently bring through these cyclical patterns back around for deeper healing. People reconnect, family stories emerge, old wounds are seeking resolution, and your inner child wants to speak. This is a beautiful Mercury retrograde to connect with your inner child. So, as Mercury retrogrades back through the third decan, the energy becomes so much more introspective and emotionally discerning. So this is when we get into the Four of Cups territory. And this Four of Cups energy is fascinating because it is the archetype of emotional withdrawal. And this is a decan that is ruled by the moon. So it is extra lunar, extra, extra, extra intuitive. This card is also spiritual reevaluation. So, this is where the retrograde brings up spaces where we might be emotionally unavailable. So, the Four of Cups can manifest as emotional numbness, withdrawal, uncertainty, fatigue, overstimulation, or realizing something no longer emotionally fulfills you. But spiritually, this card is so, so, so sacred because the cup being offered is the image coming from the divine, from divinity. We have to remember again that the moon rules over both the sign of Cancer and this particular decan. So again, it is extra, extra, extra lunar. There is a great potential here to deepen one's connection with their intuition. So I love that we already touched on the divination piece. This particular decan amplifies that to an extreme, to an extreme. So this decan also teaches us that sometimes emotional healing requires the pause, just as Mercury retrograde does. It requires the pause, the
Mhm.
introspection. Sometimes the soul needs silence again to hear what has been buried underneath. So during this portion of the Mercury retrograde, people may need more rest. Social energy may fluctuate. Emotions, again, are non-linear like the crab moves. Intuitive messages may come through dreams and
Mhm.
solitude, and people may realize where they've been emotionally feeding everyone else, like the lunar energy does, it nurtures, it cares for where they've been caring for everyone else, but not themselves. So, this is where cancer medicine can teach us what actually nourishes us,
Yeah.
what actually provides true nurturance. So the Mercury Cazimi on July 12th is the heart of this retrograde because I'll tell you, we don't always have this during retrograde periods. So
Mhm.
this is a rebirth point. So Mercury Cazimi occurs when Mercury sits in the heart of the sun. So symbolically, the mind enters divine illumination because we have to remember the truth about Mercury is that Mercury is known as the messenger of the sun. So this is a very, very special moment. And
Mhm.
during a Cancer Cazimi, emotional clarity comes through the heart space. So this is a beautiful time for journaling, for ritual, ancestral healing, intuitive downloads, any kind of healing conversations, emotional connection, and just again, reconnecting with your inner child, receiving emotional insight.
Yeah, so like just the term Kazemi, it just means they're like exactly conjunct. So they're
Yep.
going to be the same exact degree in the sky. That's all it means astronomically.
Yes. Sitting in the heart.
Yes.
That's and that's what we mean when we say conjunctions. It just means that they are in the same space sharing energy. So they're fused basically.
Hmm.
So this retrograde may illuminate any fear of vulnerability, emotional suppression, any difficulty receiving support, nurturance. It could also bring up inherited family conditioning, ancestral patterns, scarcity patterns around safety, emotional overattachment to the past, and any wounds around belonging, especially because this Mercury retrograde is happening while the collective is already moving through immense emotional recalibration. Like this is what Love was mentioning earlier, where this is new era astrology, Pluto and Aquarius. Neptune and Aries, Saturn moving with Neptune and Aries, Uranus and Gemini. These are big
And then
things
we're
that
gonna have
we are,
Jupiter in Leo changing at the end of
yes.
July.
Yes, so there's a lot already happening. So this Mercury retrograde again is an invitation to slow down and to witness within the self what truly needs healing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and Flora put in the chat that she's traveling June 28th, so right before
right
it
before,
officially retrogrades. So that's kind of good, I guess.
yeah. Well,
We'll have to see your chart, but
yes, well, Cancer rising.
oh,
So this travel then is about some kind of emotional reconnection
until
until
July
July
18th.
18th, so for the most part of this retrograde.
Yeah.
So I feel like wherever you're traveling to is going to bring up some healing. Are we visiting family? Is it like
Yeah. They
ancestral?
also say for Mercury retrograde, if you travel,
Yeah,
okay,
homeland. Oh my God. Actually, that's so exciting,
that's actually
Flora.
perfect for this
Yes.
transit. I have another client doing the same thing,
Yeah.
and she's Scorpio rising. But I was gonna say sometimes they say for Mercury retrogrades, if you've already traveled to that place, then there's less of an issue that might arise because you kind of already know what to expect, what to do. There's a familiarity. It's the revisiting, right? So if you've
Yes.
already been to your homeland and you're revisiting, that's perfect. So like
Yeah.
honestly,
Third
yeah,
time.
yeah,
And this is also the beauty of working with Mercury retrograde consciously because you know, as a Cancer rising, you're making this plan for traveling and it's aligned with all of these themes around the ancestral healing, around revisiting the homeland, around understanding emotional patterns
yeah,
that have been inherited. And I will say that now because you know this, you'll know like, okay, I'm gonna get to the airport
yeah.
extra early, like leave some
Get a connecting
spaciousness.
flight that
You know,
has space in between and it's not a
yeah.
30-minute thing,
And I
stuff like that.
do find like what, and this is the piece that's really essential when I said Mercury retrograde is not a cosmic curse, because sometimes when we experience these big things, like we're traveling, we're signing a lease on a business, we're getting a new home, we're getting a car, sometimes these things are cosmically just aligned for us to experience during Mercury retrograde.
Yeah.
And we can't resist it, we can't fight it.
Yeah, I feel like
So,
this is cool because Cancer, like we said, rules ancestry in the past and it's in your first house of yourself. So it'll be a really beautiful time for you to really reconnect with any family stories or cultural stories or ancestral things and how that makes you feel about yourself, see yourself and your identity in the world. So that's really cool. We'll talk about it more in the readings too. We're getting
yay.
excited
I
already.
know.
Not astrologers, just like talking about astrology.
Geeking out.
Okay. Okay, so practices for the collective. I there's been a lot of words, so these are all images for y'all. I felt like it was way too many words in this PowerPoint. Okay, so beautiful ways to work with this transit for the collective can be to revisit old journals, reconnect with chosen family, cook ancestral meals, create an altar for your lineage or your culture, practice nervous system regulation, allow emotions to fully process, rest more,
So cute.
hydrate, spend time near water, speak more gently
Hmm.
to yourself, and pay attention to recurring emotional themes. This is also an incredibly powerful retrograde for healing sibling dynamics, repairing friendship wounds, rewriting inner child narratives, and reconnecting with intuitive gifts. So let this transit soften your mind so your emotional body can reveal what is needed for true nourishment. Mercury in Cancer teaches us that memory is sacred. feeling is intelligence, and vulnerability is the pathway to authentic connection. So, if you want to take a couple seconds and put in the chat which of these things you're feeling drawn to heal or reflect on during Mercury in retrograde in Cancer.
Or again, if you have any questions, because
Yeah,
we're
like I'm
just,
feeling like that's going to happen. How do I
yeah,
do that or whatever? We can totally answer those for you.
we're throwing down a lot of information here. It's like a lot
Yeah.
of words.
I know. I was like, let's do a few just images here.
Yeah.
Just images.
Yeah. Can you tell I'm a Mercury first house person? Just
And
all the
I'm Gemini
words.
Mercury, so I'm also like maximalism as fuck. So I'm just like, this is too many words on the screen. Cool. Okay. Chat. Inner child, paying attention to reoccurring emotional themes for sure. To connect with
Yes,
myself more.
that's
Beautiful.
beautiful.
Yeah, I love that. And we already talked kind of about Flora's gonna have a whole
Yeah.
be a different person when she comes back from her travels.
Yeah, the inner child piece is so, so, so potent with this Mercury retrograde when I was feeling into it, how we can reconnect with that tender, sweet, innocent part of ourself and yeah, like just soften into what does that part of ourself really truly need
Yeah.
for deep nourishment.
Yeah.
So beautiful.
Lovely. All right. How Cancers corresponds with the tree of life, the energy centers or chakras, and the angels.
Yes.
Ding.
So
Oh, I went too far. Go ahead.
when Mercury is, moving through a water sign, retrograde in a water sign, the rational mind, it softens so intuitive perception can arise. So this is why so many people during Mercury retrograde, especially Mercury retrograde in a water sign, experience very vivid dreams, heightened intuition, emotional downloads, that feeling of deja vu, synchronicities, psychic sensitivity, and ancestral memories can come through. So the veil becomes thinner between intellect and intuition. And energetically, this retrograde activates the yin aspect of the third eye and Bina on the tree of life. And this is because 0 to 29 degrees of Cancer. So the whole sign of Cancer corresponds again with the yin aspect of the third eye, which is Bina on the tree of life. So this is the intuitive channel connected to dreams, emotional knowing, deeper symbolism, body sensations, ancestral wisdom, subtle perception, stillness, and spiritual surrender. So Bina, the third Sephira in the sphere of understanding, is called the Great Mother, the dark womb, the primordial sea. Bina represents wisdom gained through lived experience, emotional maturity, grief, time, and surrender. This is why Bina is connected to Saturn, the archetypal energy of integrity, containment, wisdom, boundaries, emotional maturity, and spiritual responsibility. So, Bina teaches us that true understanding is born when we stop resisting what we feel and embody emotional maturity. So, the yin aspect of the third eye, it corresponds with Archangel Zachiel, whose energy carries profound stillness and deep understanding. Like literally the name of this angel translates to the part of source consciousness that is knowledge and contemplation. So this angel is the presence of deep understanding, contemplation, and the one who helps us process wisdom as we're receiving wisdom. This angel also provides the knowledge that we need to see things from someone else's perception so that we may embody love and forgiveness. So, Zachiel teaches us that patience, the process of understanding, emotional spaciousness, discernment, silence as medicine, and the sacred intelligence hidden within pauses. Again, slowing down. We're going to keep bringing that up. So when we are working with the yin aspect of the third eye, we have to remember that it will speak through dreams, through symbols, through these repeated emotional patterns, through songs, through physical sensations, through water imagery, through synchronicities, through intuitive pulls or memories just resurfacing. So, this is why emotionally, Mercury retrograde in Cancer can feel overwhelming at times because the subconscious, again, is becoming louder than the conscious mind, even. So, Archangel Zachiel is here to soothe the collective during this transit. This is our angelic guide for Mercury retrograde in Cancer.
So some energy healing practices you can do to balance the yin aspect of your third eye. If you're really going through it, you feel like you need a ground, you're getting a lot of psychic information, you want to, release the energy in your nervous system. These are some practices. So even with the Saturnian medicine, we still can have gentleness. So here are some things you can try. So water healing rituals. Cancer is a water sign. So water becomes medicine during this retrograde. Beautiful practices are spiritual baths, as seen in this image here, a salt bath, going to the ocean, sitting near a river, drinking water intentionally, right? And they've done like studies that when you speak to your water, you play beautiful music to your water, it changes the way that the chemical structure organizes, kind of like how no two snowflakes are alike. They can like freeze the water and it looks like these different shapes. So even just intentionally connecting, being like, thank you for nourishing me, thank you for grounding me. When I drink this water, it's going to XYZ, whatever you need in the moment. Cleansing the face and the third eyes, like with water, maybe even salt water if you feel like you really need a strong cleanse. Ask as you work with water, center into the affirmation of emotional clarity. Water helps the subconscious release stored emotional static, right? Water is a what do we like a not a catalyst, but um water helps us move from a flow, helps us flow from one to the other, right? It can help us release, move, call in different things. Water is traditionally seen as like we can release and let go and flow with our emotions. And that, water usually flows in different patterns depending upon like if it's a river or an ocean. So this is kind of the energy, like if you need to let it out, if you need to let it go, if you need to move through it, you can work with water.
100%, especially Cancer being a cardinal water
Yeah.
sign, which is so interesting because Bima, like I just said, is the great mother, that sacred womb space, which that is Cancer, cardinal water. It is the water that goes first. So this is why taking the baths and like being intentional, like you're held in that womb space, held in the water.
Yeah. So you can do a yin third eye meditation. So you can place one hand over your heart and one over your third eye, which is just in the middle of your forehead, as I like tried to like really highlight in that image. Um, and instead of trying to see something, just simply breathe.
Yeah.
Allow images, feelings, or memories to arise naturally. The yin aspect of the third eye opens through receptivity, right? Because yin and yang, yin is the quote unquote feminine energy, right? And the feminine energy in spirituality is receiving. It's not doing, chasing, it's just attracting. When you're doing a lot of psychic stuff, a lot of people try to, they get really linear and they're trying to figure it out and find the answer. Instead, we need to let go of our preconceived notions, our things that we want to happen, and we let it flow to us. What is the information? What does the universe want to share with us? What does the archangel want to share with us during this time, right? You can also, if you're doing a yin third eye meditation, tap on your third eye. If you want to put like an oil and like rub it into your third eye, as long as it's, safe for your skin. You can also like if you draw a like spiral or circle shape in a clockwise direction, it will open up your third eye. And if you feel like it's like too much during this time, you can do draw in a counterclockwise motion on your forehead and it'll close down your third eye so it's not as open. So you know who you are. If you have Pisces placements, your third eye is probably really open. So I would recommend closing it a little bit. But yeah, some people know their vibes. Which one they are. Okay, you can do moon gazing and darkness medicine. So the yin aspect of the third eye strengthens in quiet environments, in stillness, right? So you can spend time under the moonlight because Cancer is ruled by the moon. It's the only sign ruled by the moon. And we're going to the third decan is ruled by the moon as well during this transit. So connecting with the moon can be really beautiful. Yes, we have something in the chat. Let's see. Your Pisces moon needed to hear that. Yeah, I felt that. I'm
Yeah.
like, y'all are too open every single time. Every single time. It's so funny to me.
I get
Um,
it. Pisces rising over here.
I mean Pisces Saturn, I guess for me,
Yeah.
but okay, so spend time under the moonlight or in candlelight. And this is
Yes.
also really great because low lighting like candlelight or like the Himalayan salt lamps naturally helps us regulate our nervous system because for thousands of years as humans we never had overhead lighting, right? So we've gotten used to firelight, gentle, the orangey, yellowy hues actually help us calm down our nervous system.
Yep.
Bonus points, like if you they sell those like waterproof like things you can stick on the wall that are like these yellow orangey lamps. And then they say like you can shower with just that light instead of turning on the overhead light. And that would be like a perfect like mix of the water and this moonlight vibes. So yeah. Spend time under moonlight, in candlelight, away from constant stimulation, or in silence before bed, right? Like turn off your phone, turn off your TV or whatever you have going on, put on airplane mode, like just relax, just spend time existing. The Bina wisdom emerges in stillness, right? So modern life tends to overstimulate the yang aspect of the third eye. So retrogrades are beautiful because they invite restoration of the intuitive mind.
Yes.
Okay, oh, I clicked the wrong button. Sorry. Journaling. So, journal emotional patterns. Mercury retrograde is incredible for tracking emotional cycles, asking yourself questions like, what emotional themes keep repeating? What conversations am I avoiding? Where do I abandon my own needs? What emotion am I trying to intellectualize instead of feel? That's a big one. What memories are resurfacing right now? And the retrograde often reveals the patterns hidden beneath the daily momentum, right? And when you're journaling, I just want to give you all permission. Do just stream of consciousness. Don't police yourself, correct yourself. Don't worry about grammar. Don't worry about hurting somebody's feelings or saying something mean or whatever. This is a time for you to just be really honest with yourself. Your journaling should be just an honest stream of consciousness. Nervous system grounding. So, because Mercury rules the nervous system, many people mentally and emotionally feel flooded during the retrogrades. So you can support your nervous system through slower mornings, right? Like maybe you try and in your schedule give yourself that time so you're not rushing and starting the day on the nervous system overload. Breath work, whether it's just a deep breath in the middle of the day, or doing like breath work, meditation or going to a breath work class, gentle stretching, just going slow, not lift power lifting. We're just gently feeling into our body, stretching wherever our body feels it needs it. Even closing your eyes and stretching, I love doing that too. Restorative movement, so just like slower, more like healthy movements, not like pushing our body to go through things. Hydration is definitely going to help. A lot of people are ungrounded because they haven't eaten and they haven't drank enough water. Myself included, a lot of the time. Magnesium can be really great. It helps regulate our circadian rhythm. It can help with deeper sleep, waking up less groggy and like icky feeling. I take magnesium. It's great. Sleeping more, give yourself some more rest. Just, I need a nap. Maybe I don't, I take like 3 naps a year. I'm crazy. But napping can be great as well. Reducing overstimulation, just trying not to watch TV and be on your phone and do another activity. And then emotional boundaries, right? If you feel you're just going through it, don't push yourself to show up into this event, Take the time to be like, hey, I'm gonna take a night in. I need to kind of just give myself a space to cry, or whatever the emotions are. So grounding is spiritual protection here, right? The more we're grounding, these are practices where it's like the more you do this, the less of these issues and snafus you're gonna have, kind of, right? Because you're going with the flow of what the energy of Mercury retrograde in Cancer is asking of you, as opposed to just continuing business as usual. Yeah, grounding practices can also just be like what I put the image, sitting in nature, touching grass, touching a tree. They did a study if you hug a tree for like 20 seconds, it helps like reset your nervous system because you're like connecting with the energy field of the tree and nature, and so it just kind of like puts you back into that. So you don't have to know what you're doing or feel anything, you can just do it. Just ask the tree, "Hey, can I give you a hug?" If you get a strong no, then pick a different tree. I have some trees in my
Usually
neighborhood.
receptive.
No, I have two trees in my neighborhood when I do intuitive development with my students, and it's happened like multiple times in different classes. And I'll tell them like ask for consent and permission, and they're like, the tree said get out of here.
They love me.
The
I
trees
don't
are
know.
like, no.
I
There's a
love the
pine tree on my
trees.
street that's like, no. It's so funny, but they're good at boundaries, so they're like, I don't want to work with that. It's learning, right? Okay, and then the last one is working with Saturn. I know you're like, what? I'm working with Saturn consciously. So since this retrograde carries the Bina, the Saturnian energy, structure becomes healing. Oh yeah, we have something in the chat. Thank you. I'm just like going crazy. I know exactly
Okay.
what trees. Yeah, Jordan has experienced said trees. I've had like three, four clients where they're like, yeah, it was really funny. It's just, it's kind of funny. They're like, no. Okay, so Saturn is asking you what emotional practices actually sustain you consistently. This is a beautiful retrograde for creating ritual structure, meditation discipline, journaling practices, boundaries, and energy and emotional accountability. So Saturn is here to help intuition become embodied wisdom, right? I like this sustain you consistently. It's not a quick fix, right? I know capitalism and everything is like single use, immediate stuff. Saturn is like, no, something that works long term, something that I can build and grow with, something that I know I can rely on, not just a simple thing that I try one time. I know it can feel like, oh, I did my one meditation, I'm good for the Mercury retrograde. Probably not here with this Saturnian one. Maybe another sign of Mercury retrograde, maybe. Not this one. Okay. So now we are going to get into actually before I just skip ahead, put in the chat what emotional practices sustain you consistently.
Yes.
Ooh, do we have any? Do we know? It's okay if you don't. That's okay if you're like, I'm not sure. I'm gonna take this time to develop them. But yeah, if you have any practices that you're like, this is my go-to, this helps me calm down, this helps me feel my emotions. Um,
Yes.
yeah, sharing can give someone else some food for thought. I don't know. What are your practices that help sustain you?
Solitude. I also I need solitude. I'm like, yes, 100%
Solitude,
solitude. The
going to a
ritual
sound.
baths also help me a lot.
Yeah, I do sound
Um,
bath meditations for people and they really like those. Those help a lot.
so beautiful.
Yeah.
Showering,
Mm.
yes.
Showering at night. Yeah. Definitely cancer rising. Yeah. My
It's
partner's a cancer rising. He showers every
cleansing.
night.
It's so, same. It's so cleansing, purifying for the fields.
I'm trying to think what are things that like energetically sustain me
I
consistently.
also have a daily practice where I put on ancestral drums and I will dance. Every
Mm.
morning, I will move my body
I feel like definitely
and
spending time with my dog,
yes,
petting her, cuddling. She reminds me to slow down, just have a
yes,
little moment. Like I finished the task. Okay, I'm gonna go cuddle my dog.
so beautiful. Pets are so grounding. Yeah, the ritual showers, dancing alone is so
Yeah.
healing. And
We like to do dancing. I have
yep.
like three different playlists for the vibe that I'm feeling.
Meditation is also a signature practice for me. Every morning, I will meditate
Take
to
forever
a
to shower them.
shower.
Yeah, when you're getting ready for work. Sometimes I do it like you're in the shower for 40 minutes to an hour. Yeah,
That's
because you're
great,
needing
though.
that
You need it.
like getting and something that you can do
Yeah,
when you're in the shower is like standing with the with your crown under the water and imagine like clearing out all the emotional gunk. Just imagine
yeah.
all of this like icky energies or things like just falling off of you and going down the drain, that can be great to just be like, okay, I'm going to clear everything that doesn't need to be here, and then I'm good to go.
Yeah, especially being a Cancer sun,
Yeah.
like water placements, we really need the water for cleansing, whether
Yeah.
it's showers, baths,
I like to do salt
visiting
baths.
water. Oh my
On my
gosh.
birthday, I like to go to the ocean every year.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very
It's
classic
really it's
cancer.
essential to
Yeah.
work with water as a form
I
of
wear my cancer
cleansing.
shirt.
Yep. Yay.
Okay.
So I want to do a little teaser here. We're talking a lot about the yin aspect of the third eye.
Hmm.
But in our upcoming Uranus and Gemini circle, Gemini corresponds with both the yang and the yin aspect of the third eye. So if you want just the whole overview of the third eye and how to work with it in a way that
Hmm.
is really balanced, I'm just going to put this here because we're going to be doing this circle. And yeah, as you're seeing with the yin aspect of the third eye, with it being Saturn ruled, it really is about the integration of the wisdom that we receive with
Yeah.
the yang aspect of the third eye, which is Chakma. It's ruled by Uranus. So it's like sudden insights, like boom, 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 boom. But then Saturn's like, how do we hold it? How do we ground it? How do we sustain it? How do we give it life?
Yeah. So we'll be
So,
in that class June 18. It'll
yeah,
also be recorded. Uranus is going to be in Gemini for 7 years. So
yes.
it's already here. But we were like, you know what? Let's do a class because it's only a couple months in and we're going to have 7 years of this energy. So why not learn how to work with it, how it's going to impact the collective? So yeah, that'll be a great. That one's going to be
100%.
really fun. The
Yeah.
Uranus energy for me was really fun to work
I
with.
just
I
want to
have Gemini
preface that
placements.
because, yeah, like the third eye is so activated, like not only during this transit, but yeah, for the next 7 years, we're experiencing this massive activation of the third eye in both
Yeah.
the yang and the yin aspects. So,
It'll be good to know because there'll be so much going in and out and you'll be able to get more discernment.
yeah.
Okay, so now we're going to do our live readings. We're going to go through Aries through Pisces, each rising sign, because we have people on the replay, and whoever's already pre-submitted their information will
Mhm.
be looking at your chart specifically. These are just like, if this is your rising sign, it'll be in this house. But then when we get to look at your chart, it's like, oh, you have this placement or this thing conjunct or whatever. So we'll give you those special pieces. And live
Yay.
readings. Okay.
So, Aries
Oh,
rising.
so yeah,
I
you want
don't
to
think
go?
we got any Aries
I don't
rising
have any Aries. Yeah, I
submissions.
have Leo and Gemini.
Okay, so let's dive in. Aries rising. This Mercury retrograde is moving through your fourth house of home, family, roots, ancestry, and emotional foundation. So this is deeply personal. I'm actually thinking about a beautiful friend of mine who is an Aries rising,
Hmm.
who just moved into a brand new house, literally just texted me like a picture of the house. So a lot of like with this Mercury retrograde, it's about reorganizing things in the house, like making it feel homey, right? So there's a lot here in the roots and the foundation. So you may find yourself Aries rising, revisiting childhood memories. Family dynamics may be coming up, living situations may be coming up for revisiting, emotional safety patterns may be coming up for healing, and old grief stored in the body may be resurfacing for healing as well. So this Mercury retrograde, your healing comes through softening the survival instinct.
Hmm.
Aries rising, they often are motivated by that feeling of survive, get it done, survive, go. But this Mercury retrograde, again, is an invitation to soften because as a fire rising sign, you often move so quickly, especially Aries rising
Yeah,
being cardinal fire,
the
so
first
quickly
one. Yeah.
towards action. But it is this retrograde is asking you to pause, to soften, to feel. So the yin aspect of the third eye for you, Aries rising, opens for you through rest, like just chilling in your home space, like just relax, like be in your home, get cozy, home rituals, connecting with your ancestors, Aries rising. This is a really big deal for y'all. Dream work and emotional honesty. So, being that teaches you that strength is not the absence of vulnerability. And this is a big deal for Aries risings because Aries energy is so fierce and strong, courageous, bold in leadership. But again, that strength it also requires deep vulnerability, to be honest with yourself. So your energy medicine for this Mercury retrograde is to create a sacred altar in your home space.
Mhm.
Take these cleansing baths like we're talking about, journal, especially around childhood memories or what your inner child needs for true nurturance. And I will invite you, Aries rising, to place one hand on your heart before reacting emotionally because we want to make sure we're not reacting from a wounded place emotionally. So, yay, Aries rising, rock this Mercury retrograde.
Okay, so Taurus risings, do you have any?
So, Taurus rising. So, Richard, your submission said afternoon. So, I just put in a baseline of 12, which gives you a later degree Taurus rising. So if you were born like even 1231, you'd be a Gemini rising.
So look at both,
So
see what feels
yeah,
resonant for you.
this is exactly why we need the exact time window. I had another submission where there was no timing put in. I believe it was L who didn't give me a time window. And Ellen, sorry, Ellen, I didn't have any information for you for the timing, so we need that to pull up the exact chart. So yeah, Richard, you can look at this Taurus rising one and the Gemini rising one and just see what feels more aligned for you if you can find your exact birth time. So
Yes.
yeah.
Yes, so this Mercury retrograde is going to be moving through your third house of communication, thought patterns, siblings, learning, and your nervous system. So your inner dialogue is being rewritten here. You may notice repeating thoughts resurfacing, old conversations returning, mental overwhelm, or emotional truths emerging through communication. So, the healing here is slowing down your thought process, clearing out your mental clutter so that you can hear intuition and speak from your intuitive knowing. I feel like Taurus risings, you're going to have to communicate like in real time with your mind, and you're going to have to like look at, is this like reaction that I want to have or feeling that is arising like a pattern? Is it something I learned from like my life experience or my childhood? Is this how I want to show up? Is this really what I want to speak in this moment? And I know that like earth sign risings, they tend to kind of like hold it all in emotionally until they reach their boiling point and then they let their words come out freely. So I feel like for you, it's about finding that unique gas and pedal. Like, do I want to say this right now? Do I need to take more time to figure it out? Do I need to say this? I've been holding it in too long and I shouldn't be and I need to give myself this space because I feel Taurus risings like you, especially having like third house cancer, it's a cardinal. So like you know what you want to say. You know what you're feeling. Taurus is usually really good with boundaries. So it's about like finding that balance where you're not like no, I'm not going to say anything because they don't deserve my time and energy. But it's like if it's eating away at you, maybe, talk about this. And also your personal relationship with yourself. Like how am I talking to myself through this? Okay, so the yin aspect of the third eye opens through silence, writing, breath work, mantras, maybe even like mudras and mantras, and mindful communication. So the Bina asks you, are your thoughts nourishing your spirit? Your energy medicine for this Mercury in retrograde is to reduce overstimulation. Maybe take a social media break. Maybe you plan this out, you post it, you tell people. Free write your emotions daily, like stream of consciousness, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, just getting it out. And speak with deep, heartfelt intention. That's why I was saying, like, am I showing up? Like, should I say it this way? Is this the pattern? Am I just falling into it? Because having, Cancer in your third house, Cancer can sometimes be a little petty. They can hold on to the past a lot. So you might be like, oh, I'm going to say this because I know it's going to hurt their feelings. Like, just think about how you're showing up and what's important for you. What are you needing? Where do you want to be in the future and act in that energy now?
Yes, my partner is a Taurus rising who is a Cancer sun and Cancer Mercury. And he told me the other day that he is rewriting a joke that he has. He's a comedian. And the reason why is because he said to me, well, my voice does create my reality. So if I'm speaking this aloud, like that's what I'm putting out into the universe. And I'm like, ding, 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 you're already feeling into this upcoming Mercury retrograde as a natal Mercury and Cancer person because Taurus rising, having Cancer in your third house, you are emotionally attuned to what you are speaking out
Yeah.
into the
Your
world.
words can really cut and hurt people.
Yeah.
Cancer is very gifted at
And
emotions
yourself
manipulation.
too, not just other people,
Hmm.
yourself. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, Gemini rising. I do have someone who's a Gemini
Me
rising.
too, Ingrid. Yay.
Okay, so if you want to talk about it, and then we'll look at their charts after.
Okay, cool. So, Gemini rising. This Mercury retrograde is moving through your second house of self-worth, values, resources, your emotional security. So, Mercury, your ruling planet, Gemini rising. So this is extra, extra potent for you. Where Mercury moves as your ruling planet, we pay extra attention to because Mercury, again, in your own natal chart is making the most impact. So as Mercury is transiting, Mercury is also making the most impact on you. So anytime we have Mercury retrograde periods, it's important for you, Gemini rising and Virgo risings, which we'll get into, to be extra
Hmm.
conscious and aware of this retrograde period. So this is a very strong transit for you. And this transit is asking you what truly makes you feel safe, Gemini rising. So old scarcity patterns may surface emotionally and spiritually for you to heal. This process may bring you deeper and deeper into true self-worth. So the yin aspect of the third eye opens for you through embodiment, grounding, nourishment, rest, and your connection with the material world through your body's wisdom. So think like sensuality, like feeling in your body. Bina teaches you that your true value is not dependent on productivity. Your worth is not dependent on productivity. Your energy medicine for this Mercury retrograde, Gemini rising, is to eat slowly, like really be in your body. We keep coming back to the slow energy, but especially with this connection with the material world, Gemini rising, connecting with your senses in a way that is slow and soothing, placing your hands over your throat and your heart before speaking, working with affirmations around worthiness, and
Hmm.
reconnecting again with your physical senses. Be in your body, Gemini rising. Yay.
Yeah. So my person, Melissa, Gemini rising, Virgo sun, Leo moon. So no Cancer placements in your chart, but I feel like the Leo moon in the third house is kind of connecting to this Mercury patterns and themes. And yeah, full is conjunct your,
Is that Pholus?
yeah.
Oh, I was looking at Cancer.
Oh
Like
yeah.
there's stars in there.
Yeah, serious, yeah. So yeah, you don't have any placements in Cancer in your second house or any aspects to that because you don't have any placements. But I
Hmm.
just feel like with the moon in the third house of communication and thoughts and things like that, there might be some like crossover here of like, hey, emotionally, I'm not liking this. I'm not vibing with this. I might be with the Leo here, I feel like it's like I want to be seen more, right? I want to feel supported, nurtured in that kind of way seen, not necessarily like public. So I think for you, like any wounds that you have around your value and showing up with your emotions, any wounds that you might have about like letting people nurture and care for you, like am I worthy enough to be loved? Am I, is it like Do I think that like I shouldn't ask for help because I don't want to be a burden or something like that? Might come up for you. And I'm feeling like there is like certain close relationships that might come up that you might need to have these conversations about feeling like you're being respected or your worth is being valued in how you're showing up in your life. That's kind of what's coming up for me because you don't really have any Cancer placements. So it's going to be like whatever we said for the Gemini rising stuff will be pretty applicable for you. I don't know. Do you have any?
Yeah, so your natal Mercury as your ruling planet is in Libra in
Hmm.
the fifth house. And you also have your Mars
Mars,
and
Jupiter.
Jupiter here,
Oh
conjunct in the
yeah.
later degrees of Libra, which will be then creating a square aspect with this Mercury retrograde period. So, what I was feeling for you, especially, is the power of your creativity, especially with that
Hmm.
the Leo moon and Venus Leo
Yeah.
conjunction in your third house. That's a great placement, by the way, for the moon. The moon is
Yeah.
considered to be rejoicing in the third house, the house of the goddess, the house of communication. So what I'm feeling into for you for this retrograde cycle, it feels like there's a revision happening around some kind of creative project and how that brings in the money, the
Mhm.
resources, the
Yeah.
second house
An
themes.
old
It's
dream, an old thing coming
yeah,
for you.
100%.
Ooh,
And
that's
how that
exciting.
feels in your body too, to like reactivate that old creative project that maybe you pushed aside and now's the time to bring it through and like bring some money in for it. Love it.
Yeah, especially Jupiter there.
Yeah. Yeah, Jupiter Square. Yeah.
Cool.
Cool.
All right.
So, Ingrid, yay. So, what's so interesting,
Mm.
you have your Cancer sun here, but it
Hmm.
is at 15 degrees. So, by one
Missing.
degree, it misses this retrograde cycle. So
That's hilarious.
I know, isn't that? It's sort of like, okay, you're still feeling the energy of it happening here in your second house, but it might not feel as intense on your sun, which is your identity, your solar expression out into the world. I know, wow, 1 degree. But having the second house sun, let me tell you, because I am also with you with the second house
Hmm.
sun. My sun is in Aries, so still cardinal sign. Our identity, our sense of purpose is strongly tied to the connection that we have with this material world. Like it is a really big deal for second house suns, no matter what sign it is in, for your identity, for your solar purpose, for your light, for your radiance, to have a strong connection here with the material world. And what's so beautiful about second house energy is that it relates again to everything that we experience here in this earthly realm. And when we look at that from a quantum perspective, it is all just light, light, empty space, particles floating around. And the second house is what teaches us how to build, how to create form and structure out of that light. So this is a big deal for second house suns to
Yeah.
build and create and to feel like
And a
in
Mars.
worthiness. Like
Yeah.
I will say like that has been like my biggest life's work and my core need because that's what our sun ultimately represents as it shines here. I have had lots of periods in my earlier life where I just felt so unworthy, like so disconnected from my body, from my senses, and a lot of my journey has been around like really reclaiming my worthiness and like I'm here, let me enjoy this material world. Like that's a big deal for second house suns to feel in their radiance and in their power. So this Mercury retrograde then is an invitation for your soul to connect with that piece around like what does make you feel safe? What does make you feel nourished?
Yeah.
Like how are you connecting with your physical body and with your senses and with the material world and what's bringing pleasure?
Yeah.
And if there are like scarcity patterns ancestrally, because that's Cancer medicine and that might show up really strongly for you with the second house here. If your ancestors dealt with money and resources in a certain way, that sometimes trickles down
Hmm.
into our how we approach money and finances. Like
Hmm.
for me, being a second house son, a lot of it was around rewriting this ancestral story that, I have a lot of ancestors who were very hard workers, pioneers, like very intense, like that kind of energy. So I felt this frequency of like, money comes through hard, 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 hard work. Like, and I still to this day have to check myself with the the workaholic energy. But I've rewritten this like, well, why can't money come through like my pleasure, through
Yeah.
joy, through ease?
Yeah.
Felt. Yeah.
Yeah. I will say
Yeah.
too, you're going to be experiencing your birthday during this Mercury in retrograde. And
Yep.
as a fellow Cancer sun, I understand the melancholy and the sadness
Nostalgia.
and the weirdness, how everybody's
Yeah.
like, "Yay, my birthday," and you're like, "Don't perceive me, don't look at me. I don't want to celebrate my birthday, please." So I think it might be really beautiful for you to think about like what's a kind of like healing experience or creating a birthday experience where you do feel like I matter, my self-worth, I get to live
Yes.
out my dreams or use this birthday activity or party as a way to step into those pieces that Tylen was talking about. Like, can I like release an ancestral pattern and like use this ex action that I'm doing in the real world to embrace or signify I'm like ending this or changing this or stepping into this, if that makes sense. Yeah, and I feel like definitely like maybe something water vibes for your birthday. It's funny that you talked about the su nothing. Yeah, exactly.
Just
I'm
chill,
the first
rest.
day of Gemini or Cancer season, so I'm like
Summer solstice,
mine's coming up
baby.
and I'm like still like I'm scared to put an invite because I don't know if I'm gonna be happy or not. Right?
Literally,
Like,
I was gonna ask you after this, like, what's happening for your birthday?
I've been
Like,
planning, I've been like talking to my partner who's also a Cancer, like for 2 weeks about it, and I'm still not even convinced if I want to have anything because it's so scary. So yeah, maybe even if you don't do something with others, even if you do a spa, something where you just feel like I'm embracing my worth and I'm showing myself that it is okay to do this. And I feel like something like spa or like being in the water, like at the ocean or something, definitely coincides with the slowing down and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, because I think if you have the second house placement sun, it's like you either have the self-worth issues or you're like you think the world revolves around you and you're just like nobody else matters. I've seen that too. But definitely with the Cancer, I'm like it's probably the sadness piece, not the other one.
yeah. Also, I will say the goddess piece that came up for us, Venus in your first house, like embracing that goddess, like magnetic energy. I just want to reiterate that because that's what I saw just now. Like this goddess, like connecting with the clothes, the way it feels on your skin, like the way that food tastes, like the luxury, like being in that magnetic energy. Also, because your natal Mercury placement is very well placed in the
Hmm.
third house of communication, of expression, in the sign of Leo, which is very, very, very expressive. So, a part of this too could also be around how your communication, how your expression, how your mental energy, your mental body, the way you are perceiving reality impacts your connection with the physical world.
Yeah.
So, happy early birthday!
Yeah.
Yay!
Okay, let's move on to Cancer risings. Okay.
Yay, Flora!
Yes. Okay. So Cancer rising. This Mercury retrograde is moving through your first house. Oh, hold on. Let's see if Ingrid had anything else to say. Okay, cool. I was like, yay. Moving through your first house of identity, self-perception, body, and emotional expression. You're being asked to reevaluate who you are. This is a profound emotional reset for you. Old versions of self may dissolve. Old emotional identities may resurface for healing. The yin aspect of the third eye opens through emotional authenticity. Your intuition strengthens when you trust yourself deeply here. The Bina teaches you that emotional maturity means honoring your feelings without becoming consumed by them. And your energy medicine for this Mercury in retrograde is mirror work. looking in the mirror, talking to yourself, seeing
Yeah.
yourself, speaking nice things to yourself, saying things out loud, moon rituals, especially if we have any like moon, full moon, new moon type things around that time, emotional journaling, gentle nervous system grounding, and allowing yourself to be seen honestly. Your gift
Yes.
is truly vulnerability here, right? So I feel like when it's like in the first house, it's a little bit like, oh, bets are off. Like any aspect of you, your body, how you see the world, how you think, how you feel, it's going to be all encompassing for you. So it could be a person that sparks this, a relationship that sparks it. It could just be you're out in the world and something just clicks for you. It could be you're meditating, you're dreaming, something pops into your mind. So I would say for you, it's a little bit like a catch-all, like just look out for everything and how it's making you particularly feel. Anything that's really shifting like identity, authenticity pieces, I would pay more attention to for sure.
And your ascendant point is in the first
Yeah, so
decan
you're missing
of
it.
Cancer Flora. So this Mercury retrograde isn't actually going to impact your natal ascendant point. So when we're talking about this like identity reset, like letting old versions of the self dissolve, that might not be as potent
Yeah.
for your experience. Yeah, you're always reflecting on how different your life is now versus growing up. And that is just honestly a Cancer rising
Cancer,
trait to
yeah.
be nostalgic and reflective because guess what? That's what the moon does. And the moon is your ruling planet. The moon is always reflecting the light of the sun and always moving in the cycles, the ebbs and the flows and the dance, right? So it's
Hmm.
all of the emotions and letting yourself be fully present with whatever emotion is arising for you.
Hmm.
That's the gift of Cancer rising. Cancer rising teaches us how to embrace all of those emotions.
Yeah.
And oftentimes Cancer risings will give that emotional permission to other people just being in your field to fully feel and release and to witness and to understand like what is actually happening emotionally. But
I
yeah,
feel
go ahead.
like so a few things like
Mhm.
your Capricorn, Uranus, and Neptune will be opposing this transit at some point. And then you'll have like the Mercury maybe might square because it's in the second decan.
Yes, it will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So the your seventh house of relationships, you have what's we call the millennial conjunction, which is Uranus, and Neptune in Capricorn. So that opposition, when we get to like the later degrees of this particular transit of the retrograde, you might have like some sudden shift or change or maybe some reality becoming clear around how you're showing up in relationships or patterns in relationships or a specific relationship, especially knowing that you're going to be flying to your homeland. There might be some family stuff that might arise. Important relationships in your life really might be a catalyst or a spark moment for you to have those aha moments, is what I'm kind of feeling.
Yeah, especially the North Node piece
Oh yeah.
squaring the Mercury. And I know, Flora, you and I have talked a lot about this fourth house stellium that you've got going on here. So your connection to your roots, to your foundation, to your ancestry, and the feeling of the Libra balance and
Yeah.
harmony, like within your home space and your roots, is so essential. So this Mercury retrograde might bring up the question of what am I doing, the identity piece, to
Hmm.
cultivate that balance, to cultivate that
Yeah.
harmony.
Or you might even have with the North Node here, like, oh, you're getting baptized with your
Oh,
fire.
that's the
That's
water, the
really so cool.
cleansing, the
Okay,
rebirth
that's so beautiful.
too.
And like how we said with the important
Yeah.
relationship in your life with your fiance, that's beautiful.
Yes.
I feel like though with the North Node, it's like maybe you don't have a change of identity, but maybe a a refreshment or a reset or new piece of the story for like your purpose of like where you're coming,
Yes.
where you're going now. That now that I've experienced this, maybe I feel like what I want in life has slightly changed. You know, that's what I
Yes.
kind of feel. So yeah, that I don't know. I feel like this trip is going to be really beautiful for you.
I am feeling that intuitively as
Yeah.
well. Like there's going to be so much ancestral healing
Yeah.
and inner child healing too.
Yeah. So
Yes.
beautiful.
Oh my gosh. I'm really excited for you, Flora.
Okay. Let's move on to Leo. And I have Hannah's a Leo rising. So.
Yes. Oh my gosh, love it, Hannah. Okay, so Leo rising. So this retrograde moves through your 12th house. So the subconscious, dreams. Oh, it's your
Aw.
best friend's,
Oh my
sorry,
God.
Flora.
Best friends
Sorry,
buddy
Leo rising,
too.
Flora. It's
Not
your
the important relationships
the
shifting.
friendships. That's also like the vibe of the Three of Cups
Yeah,
energy.
that's
The
so beautiful.
connection, community, friendships,
Mm.
the deepening, the emotional bonds. Oh my gosh, we're so excited for you,
Yeah.
Flora. It's gonna be such a vibe. I can't wait to hear how this trip was for you. Okay, so Leo rising. So this retrograde is moving through your 12th house, so the subconscious, your
Mhm.
dreams, endings, spiritual processing, and hidden emotional materials. So this is a deep soul excavation for you, Leo rising. You may feel more emotional, more tired, more psychic, more withdrawn, or flooded with memories and dreams. So the yin aspect of the third eye is incredibly activated for you
Mm.
right now, Leo rising. So your healing comes through surrendering the need to always hold it together. Like Bina teaches you that your rest is sacred. Rest. Your energy medicine for this Mercury retrograde is dream journaling, meditation before sleep, salt baths, energy cleansing, and
Mhm.
alone time. Solitude without any guilt or pressure. So your spirit is processing an enormous amount of subconscious material right now, Leo rising. So give yourself the time and the spaciousness to feel because a lot is going to come through for you.
Yeah. And again, no Cancer placements for Hannah, and your Vesta placement is out of it's in the first decan, so nothing really here. The only thing I was like, do you think it would be con like the squaring like the sun? I feel like it's a little far for that because it's like a late degree.
Yeah, this the sun will be in a square to the
Okay.
Mercury
And
retrograde,
then I was
and
thinking
that's
like
your ruling planet, the sun rejoicing in the ninth house,
and
and exalted in Aries.
And then Neptune probably will oppose as well
Yeah.
in Cancer. Okay.
Yep.
So, yeah, definitely like you don't have any 12th house really placements that will be affected by this. But your sun in the ninth house will have a natural square to this placement. So that subconscious piece, I know you have a lot of these blocks around showing up and being seen. And I feel like the ninth house, it's like putting like you might have like some new like wisdom or philosophy or something that clicks with your subconscious beliefs. Like a square creates tension so that we can be challenged to move forward to find balance within that tension. So I feel like there might be some subconscious belief kind of like creating tension with some like wisdom or philosophical belief, like a conscious and a subconscious belief kind of beefing it out is kind of what I'm feeling around your identity, around the how you're showing up in the world. Especially with that Aries energy, like you've been wanting to like create things and publish things. So having your son here, I don't know, it definitely feels like there's gonna be like I see you just kind of like going like being stuck kind of like going back and forth like between the subconscious and the conscious belief. And I feel like spirit just wants to say like don't worry about like understanding it and intellectualizing it. Like it feels almost like pro con, like ping pong, ping pong. And they're like, just feel it, just go through it, even if it seems irrational and it doesn't make sense because maybe this subconscious belief negates this conscious belief. That's okay. Like there's something for you to figure out in that, right? Like because it's ultimately about like your sun placement. So it's ultimately about like where do I want to trailblaze? Where do I want to step into? So even if it doesn't make sense, maybe it's more like what I want to align myself with more one over the other. Maybe this a new belief can form to help support the subconscious stuff that you have going on.
Yes. And I just noticed the
That's what I was
Neptune,
saying. Yeah, the Neptune
like
opposing,
that.
that's gonna be a lot.
That's, yeah, a lot happening in the subconscious to, like you're saying, support the solar light, which is the purpose, the
Yeah,
mission, like taking up space,
yeah,
like really being anchored in what we talked about for you, Hannah, the heart-led warrior. Like
yeah.
that is your essence.
And
Like
it's
show up in that. frequency.
The
Yeah.
opposition's in your sixth house too, so
Yeah.
it's not necessarily like how I'm showing up in that bigger way, but I know
The
you
day
do
to
like
day.
freelance work and
Yeah.
things, so it's like maybe gonna help you shift some fantasy pieces or like
Hmm.
things that you're not so clear on how you're spending your time, how you're showing up, your boundaries here with your time and energy, or just like your dreams. Like can I accomplish all of these things? Did I set am I with Capricorn energy? It's like, am I taking the steps?
Yeah.
Am I building the routine or the practice to be able to sustain that daily life that I want, or am I not doing that? And I think
Yeah.
that's where that subconscious, maybe like a
Yeah.
fear might come up. Well, if I change it this, what will happen? Like I won't have this because Cancer is ultimately concerned about safety and nurturance and care and even with the past. Oh, I used to do it in the past this way. I've always done it in the past this way. I feel like there might be some piece around how you're showing up in your daily work and your day-to-day health and wellness that
Yeah.
the subconscious belief might become clear, like why you've been acting that way and how you can like shift that.
100%. Because, I mean, let's be real, Neptune in the sixth house is an invitation for your day-to-day experiences to be infused with what we're sharing here, the
Yeah.
subconscious work, the
Mhm.
spirituality, the oneness, the mysticism. So, yeah, it does feel like what's being revealed to you during this Mercury retrograde is going to shift your day-to-day reality and
Yeah.
perhaps even like how you are of service to humanity,
Yeah.
like stepping deeper into your ruling planet, the sun here,
Hmm.
so strongly placed, exalted and rejoicing in the ninth house of Aries, like
Yeah.
showing up as the trailblazer, the leader,
Yeah.
the teacher, like doing
It's
things
like,
that no one else
sorry,
has done before, but
that's what
you've
you're
got to
supposed to
go.
be. Just do it.
We're gonna keep pushing you,
I
Hannah. You gotta show up and
we're here
shine
for
and
you.
be in your life.
We're here for you.
Yes.
All right.
Virgo.
Virgo. Okay, let me pull up.
Do you have a Virgo
Those are
rising?
all mine because the other people like didn't put their birth information. So
Okay.
we're just going to blaze through the Virgo rising then.
Cool.
Okay. So, Virgo rising, this retrograde moves through your 11th house of friendship, community, dreams, collaboration, and future vision, especially for humanity. You're reevaluating who and what truly aligns with your heart. So, old friendships may resurface, community wounds may emerge for healing. Um, you're learning that your intuition is also a relational experience for you. The yin aspect of the third eye opens for you through collective emotional awareness. The Bina teaches you that not every connection is meant to continue forever. And your energy medicine for this Mercury retrograde is heart-centered journaling. Again, giving yourself permission, just put it all out on the table. No policing yourself, reconnecting with aligned community, and practicing emotional reciprocity. Yeah, so I do have a client who's a Virgo rising, and the community theme has been coming up a lot for them.
Yeah.
So I feel like, yeah, if you're going through this, if you've been experiencing this already, Virgo rising, this is just going to be a really good place for you to get super clear on like who do I want in my life? What type of people do I want to be surrounded by? What type of qualities or things do I want to experience in community and friendship? How are people showing up for me? How am I showing up for others? Um, and yeah, you might have to let go of, some people or set a boundary, start to like pull away and just maybe not be so present in their life. Yeah, and also I think this spirit is saying also the like more idea of community, right? Like not necessarily like the people around you, but a lot of people struggle with knowing how to actually have real true community in our modern life. So maybe you're just moving through things around that. Like, oh, I've always wanted to be held in this kind of community and maybe I was too scared or I don't have the framework or I don't know or blah blah blah. Like maybe you're just looking at more of like what does community mean to me as a whole and like how do I want to experience that in the world?
Yes. And remember, Virgo rising, Mercury is your ruling planet.
Yes.
So anytime we have Mercury retrogrades, this is a very, very, very important and strong transit for you because, yeah, Virgo rising, a community is meant to feel like it is emotionally reciprocated, like you
Hmm.
can be vulnerable, like you can be held, community that is nurturing.
Hmm.
So we want that for you, Virgo rising.
Yeah.
Yay. Libra rising, sit in the celestial circle. I don't have any Libra
No, I don't
risings, but
either.
I want them to listen to this. All the Libra
The
rising
Aries
listeners.
suddenly comes out Libra. Not when the Libra. Not when your sister sign comes, you're like, hey, Libra.
Yeah. Well, that's where my ruling planet lives in Libra. So
Mm?
love the Libra energy. Libra. Yeah, this is why Flora and Laura, did you see that?
Yeah.
Crazy Libra stellium. Okay, Libra rising.
Oh no,
Hold on.
chat. There's a chat. There's a chat.
Yes.
Yeah.
Libra rising. This retrograde moves through your 10th house of
Yeah, this is a big
career,
one.
visibility, purpose, leadership, and legacy. So you may be reevaluating your professional direction, your public identity, your relationship with success, or emotional burnout around achievement. So the yin aspect of the third eye opens when you reconnect with your inner truth and follow your true calling, Libra rising. So, Bina teaches you that sustainable success requires emotional integrity. Your energy medicine for Mercury retrograde is grounding before you do any work, redefining what success means for you, especially emotionally, creating stronger, energetic boundaries with your work, and deepening into your soul's true mission. This is a beautiful time to reflect for you, Libra rising, on what have I been doing with my work and my career and my legacy? And like,
Hmm.
is it actually truly aligned? Like, what did I incarnate to do here?
Yeah.
And can I feel it fully in the depths of my being that it's aligned?
And I feel like doing meditation to like channel maybe like words or things like mercurial things, like how do I want to describe my legacy? What's my mission statement, my vision, Like
Yeah.
how am I branding myself? How am I communicating to the world what I'm here to do? That also
Yes.
feels important.
Yes.
All right. Scorpio rising. So this retrograde moves through your ninth house of spirituality, belief systems, wisdom, teaching, and higher levels of understanding. Your worldview is evolving emotionally. So old spiritual beliefs may dissolve, new intuitive truths may emerge. The yin aspect of the third eye opens for you through sacred questioning, right? Asking the correct or the right questions, not the ones that won't help you move, like the whys, the yes and kind of questions, expansive questions. Um, where my Bina teaches you that true wisdom is born through lived experience. Your energy medicine for this Mercury in retrograde is spiritual journaling, studying mystical texts, deepening your connection with divinity and water rituals, especially as a water rising as well. Do you have anyone? You do, right? No, you don't.
No Scorpio
No
rising.
Scorpio risings. Yeah, so for Scorpio rising, for you, I feel Scorpios can get very, because it's a fixed sign, they can be like, nope, this is what I believe, especially having a cardinal energy in your ninth house. So maybe this is just like asking you to like crack open that hard exterior of the shell of the Cancerian crab, and even scorpions have kind of a hard shell. Um, and really be like, do I need to see this differently? Do I need to adopt a new belief system, a different way to look at this? Is there some more maturing in my vision, in my view of the world, and how I see myself connecting to like higher levels of wisdom or, religion or philosophy or spirituality? There just might be like more stuff coming through. You might even, because this is the house of travel and publishing, you might be traveling during this time or feel called to travel after you get your aha moment to this, like maybe a spiritual place or something like that. Traveling there could be really cool for you. And publishing, like thinking about like what do you want to put out in the world that might be tied into like this new, you might be revisiting like, oh, I've always wanted to write a book or something. You might be revisiting those pieces as well.
Yay,
Yeah.
Scorpio rising. Okay, Sag rising.
Me.
So we do a Sag rising, Rosanda. So we'll get into your chart here. So Sag rising. This retrograde is moving through your eighth house of intimacy, the house of grief, of energetic exchange, of vulnerability and transformation. So, this Mercury retrograde for Sag risings, this is deep emotional alchemy that is happening. This is deep work. So, old wounds around trust, abandonment, intimacy, and energetic depletion may come up to the surface. So the yin aspect of the third eye for you opens through emotional surrender, letting go, trusting. Vina teaches you that your unique path of transformation also occurs within conjunction to emotional depth. So let yourself fully go to those depths. Like
Hmm.
you are built for it, Sag rising. So your energy medicine for the Mercury retrograde is cord cutting rituals, shadow work journaling, trauma informed grounding, and deep, deep, deep emotional release. I will also add in like the importance of the intimacy, the sexuality piece of the eighth house, the
Mm.
taboo, the mystery, diving deeper into the realms of the occult,
Feeling
all of the
safe in your
eighth
body and your
house
sexuality. Yeah.
100% and your emotional connection to your sexuality and the
Hmm.
vulnerability piece of that and to like what true intimacy feels like for you when it's emotionally aligned. So all of these pieces are coming up for you, Sag rising. How's that feel for you, love, as Sag rising?
I'm like, my Cancer sun is at 0 degrees, so I am missing with my
So is
placement.
Rosanda. That's what I was gonna share because Rosanda has her sun at 5 degrees
And
and
Mercury.
Mercury's
Wow.
also here. Mercury is also at 5 degrees. So
Wow.
you have Mercury
Exactly.
Kazemi. Mercury's living in the heart of your sun,
You were
Rosanda.
born during the Mercury Kazemi. That's so cool.
Yeah, so cool. Oh my gosh, I feel like you're just such a deep teacher of occult wisdom,
Yeah.
Rosana, with this energy and the moon on your ascendant.
What I'm getting
Like,
is like this visual of like blindfolding yourself so that you can like feel you're tapping into your other senses. Because the eighth house is like the
hmm.
other realm. It's like the shadowy, the like very intuitive, right? It's the house of Scorpio. So I feel like it's like doing a practice of like if I remove my mental piece here of like logic and figuring it out with my brain, because our brain is we see images upside down and then our brain flips them the right direction. So much of our vision is like filtered through our perception of our brain. So I feel like it's like if I remove that visual for myself, like what information can I receive without it? Like what am I feeling? What am I sensing? What is in the field around me? What is the energies in my body and in the field around me? I feel like that feels like a really cool practice of like maybe journaling or meditating and like having that intention of like without my brain being present, trying to figure it out and knowing because Sag is also like teacher, learner, all this kind of energy. It's like what can I experience just with stillness, with darkness, with nothingness? Like what is there when I dive into that eighth house?
Yes, because that's where true transformation lives when you
Yeah.
create the spaciousness.
Yeah.
And especially with Cancer being the eighth house, to create the spaciousness to understand what is happening emotionally
Yeah.
and to clear away old emotional patterns that are
Yeah.
resurfacing, especially around energetic exchange and
Yeah.
intimacy. So if you're noticing patterns of I'm overly giving, like that's something to look at of
Hmm.
like, okay, is that actually reciprocating back like the emotional bonding that your
Yeah.
soul needs?
And like
So
being also eighth house sun, it's hard a Cancer eighth house sun, like
you get
it's
it.
hard to
Yeah.
be vulnerable with other
Yeah.
people, especially with your Mercury there too. It's like you want to communicate more maybe than I would, but it needs to be in the right environment. You need to feel safe. You need to feel nurtured for this to work for you. And so it can sometimes just be like I don't get very vulnerable and intimate with others just because of that. So like this transit could be kind of changing that for you, changing how you show up, how you view vulnerability, who you feel vulnerable with, all those types of things.
Yes. And Rosanda, I will say these two placements, the Sun and Mercury here in the eighth house, are psychic and
Yeah.
intuitive signatures, literally professional psychic and intuitive right here. Eighth
Hi.
house. So
Yeah.
this Mercury retrograde is an invitation for you to deepen your emotional connection with your psychic gifts. Because I feel
Yes.
like with this placement, sometimes there can be the Cancer crab shell energy of like, that feels a lot psychically. I'm gonna go in my crab shell. I'm not gonna see it. I'm safe here. When like the
And we have Jupiter
information
in
from
Cancer here
spirit, it's
too.
gonna keep
Yeah.
coming in. You gotta let yourself
And
experience those intuitive downloads.
also, the eighth house rules over like other people's resources or other
Yep.
people's money. So there could be some themes around that coming up as well. Maybe people are asking you to manage the resources and you need to set boundaries. Maybe you get a gift around resources and things. I've been seeing a lot of astrologers talk about people who have like the Cancer play. There's a few other placements like getting a lot of money during this Mercury retrograde. So
Yep.
yeah, cool.
Yay, Sag rising. You ready for that, love?
Sure. I
You're
feel like it's
like,
like the Cynthia Nixon meme from Sex and the City where it's like, sure, yeah, fine, whatever. She's
yeah,
like putting the lotion on her hands.
shadow work. I got this.
For
Like
me
that's
now,
the
honestly, I've released a lot of the mental when I
yeah.
do shadow work. I just let it, I'm just like the emotion just needs to go through me. I just like let the emotion ball out of
Yep.
me. And then like I get like words psychically that I just repeat the same like mantra and I just let it come through. That's usually what happens for me now.
Yep.
Sometimes though, the Gemini and I'm like writing a whole poem while I'm like crying and stuff. It's yeah.
Oh my gosh, the emotional release, right? Especially Mercury in Cancer. Like this is, I feel like the a really beautiful placement for the emotional storytelling, the emotion,
Yeah.
especially in the eighth house.
Yeah.
So,
Mm,
yay,
beautiful.
Sonda. Okay, Capricorn rising. Jordan, we're coming for
Jordan.
you.
Okay. This Mercury retrograde moves through your seventh house of relationships, mirrors, communication, and emotional reciprocity, as well as like karmic contracts and soulmate things like that. Relationships are your teachers during this transit. Old relationship dynamics may reappear for healing. The yin aspect of the third eye opens through listening to others. What is being reflected back to you in your relationships during this time? The Bina teaches you that vulnerability creates deeper intimacy than perfection ever could. And your energy medicine for this Mercury retrograde is journaling, softening defensiveness, and asking yourself what emotional needs remain unspoken. Um, yeah, so for this, it's like, I feel like it's hard with relationships. You have to be really discerning. Is it me? Am I the problem? Is it the other person? Is it just a miscommunication because we got Mercury retrograde here? Are both of our wounds triggering each other's wounds and we just didn't realize it in the moment? But I think this is a time for you to really like maybe like, what do they say? Think first, act, then act, right? Like I just feel like it's like really take a beat before responding, before communicating. Really look at this. And I will say, as a female-bodied person, there's so much stuff that I see online around a lot of like femme people just gaslighting themselves into thinking that they're crazy or what they're feeling intuitively is wrong because a lot of male-bodied people just be like, it's your problem, you're the problem. So I think like with relationships, that can be like something to just think about. Like, is it actually me or is it their perception of me? Is it the relationship that we have? Is it the exact moment in time in the situation that triggered this? Like, really just trying to like sift through those pieces.
Mm, yeah, yeah, because there's a lot happening with the relationship dynamic. So those are
Yeah.
all beautiful questions to dig into.
Yeah.
And you do have Cancer placements, but they
Yeah.
are not going to be in conjunction with this Mercury retrograde since they're happening in some of the earlier degrees. So you have Jupiter
Nice.
here in your seventh house retrograde, Chiron here retrograde in your seventh house. So this is important to
Mm,
witness because Chiron is our
yeah.
soul's deepest wounding and pain points. So this Mercury retrograde, even though it won't be in conjunction with the Chiron piece, it could be bringing up pain points and patterns to heal, to create emotional resonance through the healing process with relationship dynamics. And one thing that was really, really, really just, oh my gosh, I could not stop looking at this for you, Jordan. The shadow period when it's happening and then where it's retrograding back to that 16-degree mark, you have your MC
Mm,
exactly at 16 degrees of Scorpio. So this Mercury retrograde happens within a trine to your MC, which is in Scorpio in your 11th house. So
mm,
there's something around like when you're healing the relationship dynamics and you're understanding the emotional patterns and like the network piece, because relationships aren't just like who we are romantically involved with, it's our
yeah.
friendships, it's our business partnerships, it's
Mm-hmm.
our even family members, right? Are
Mm-hmm.
all in the one, it's just one to one. That's what it represents. So there's something happening within emotionally deepening into your one-to-one dynamics
Mm,
that might bring some support because that's what trine aspects do, that might bring support for the career point because again it's happening at that exact 16 degrees, so I'm just wondering what that piece is going to bring up for you
yeah.
as we get into this Mercury retrograde.
Yeah.
Feels really juicy.
Like releasing a wound that just helps you step
Yeah.
further into your purpose here.
Yeah, because it's ultimately,
That's
having Pluto on your MC, you are meant to be seen in the public eye for your legacy as someone who is embodied in transformation.
mm-hmm.
And that's the beauty of Mercury retrogrades because we are taking the time to sit, reflect, pause, be in the stillness to reevaluate. That is ultimately a portal of transformation because we are revisiting.
Yeah.
So this trine, it's amplifying those themes for you.
And your natal Mercury in the first house, like that's going to be a big deal too, because I feel like
Yes,
it'll be opposing, and when it's
it
in the
will.
third decan.
That was my next thing I was going to say. I love that. Mercury rejoicing in the first house.
Yeah, I just feel like your natal and your rising too. So
Yeah.
there will be some shifts around like sense of self, identity, how I'm showing up, how I'm perceiving the world, as well as how I'm communicating. I feel like this is I just saw like a banana peeling. Like I just feel like it's like we're stripping away this external layer and we're getting to like the juicy like fruit on the inside, like the vulnerable piece, the real piece underneath the exterior here. If and I'm seeing like a mechanic like going under the hood and like
Yeah.
working on things. So to me it feels more like adjustments, calibrations, tinkerings, making sure things are working well. Like just kind of like going back and because it's gonna be like opposing your actual Mercury, it's gonna be like like I feel like it's like this like spotlight, like you're gonna be like activated on, especially on the specific day where it actually opposes. That's gonna be like a big one for you of like, oh my God, I'm seeing a lot of things really clearly right now in my communication, and I need to then like jot all that down and like sort through it. I feel like the post shadow integration period is gonna be kind of pivotal for you.
Yes, 100%. Because relationships ultimately are designed and meant to be a two-way street.
Yeah.
Like, even in the relationship that we have with ourselves, like, it's sort of like this back and forth
Me to
of,
me.
yes,
Yeah.
it's a two-way street, the give and the take.
Yeah.
So, this is going to be a beautiful time for you, Jordan, for, yeah, deepening in emotional vulnerability within relationship dynamics.
Love it. Got the heart.
Oh, yay.
Cool. All right. Aquarius.
Aquarius rising. So this retrograde moves through your sixth house of health, of routines, service, work, and your nervous system patterns. So your body is speaking so loudly right now.
Jordan is much less scared now. I love
Oh,
it.
yay! Yes. Isn't it so beautiful, y'all, when we welcome in the healing process?
Yeah.
Even when we know it's going to bring up challenges, wounding, pain points, when we open ourselves to the courage of vulnerability, there's so much medicine there.
And I will say
And
that's like Tylen's thing. She just has like a good relationship with Saturn. So she's like, it's great to get your ass handed to you and to learn how to be a better person. Like
yeah.
she always makes things sound so positive. And I'm like, it's gonna be rough. So yeah, the foresight definitely helps, right? Knowing is half the battle, right? So
Yes.
okay, go ahead. Sorry. You're Capricorn rising, so you're no
Yeah,
stranger to the
the
Saturnian
Saturn.
energy.
Yeah.
You feel it too.
But I feel like that's the beauty of this existence.
Yeah.
Love Saturn. Love Saturn.
Me, a non-Saturn person, is like, why?
How could I not love Saturn? Saturn on my ascendant. So, okay. Aquarius rising, you were also ruled by Saturn.
Hmm.
So, Aquarius rising. Yeah, your body is speaking so loudly right now. The yin aspect of the third eye opens through consistency, ritual, and routine for you, Aquarius rising. So your intuition strengthens when your nervous system feels so safe. So being that teaches you that structure can be a healing force in your life when it is rooted in deep, deep, deep compassion. So, your energy medicine for the Mercury retrograde is hydration, super important, Aquarius rising, sleep restoration, nervous system care, simplifying your routines, and creating sustainable spiritual practices, and even just practical ways that you are navigating through this life, Aquarius rising. So, how can you experience softness, emotional care, and nurturance on a daily basis? I'm going to
Hmm.
say that again, Aquarius. How can you experience softness, emotional care, and nurturance on a daily basis? Big deal.
All right. And lastly, we have Pisces rising. So this retrograde is moving through your fifth house of creativity, joy, romance, inner child relationships and healing, and emotional expression, as well as like our desires and our passions. This is a deeply artistic and emotionally psychic energy for you. So old creative dreams may return, inner child wounds around visibility or expression may surface. The yin aspect of the third eye opens for you through creativity itself. So just get creative, make something, color, draw, journal. Um, where am I? The Bina teaches you that your sensitivity is not a weakness, it's a part of your sacred gifts. Magical Pisces rising. I feel like it's like the world is like, no, and Thailand as a Pisces rising is like, please do not hate yourself for being like this. Um, your energy medicine for the Mercury retrograde is intuitive art, music, dance, inner child meditation, and reconnecting with play. So this retrograde is a portal that supports creation from emotional truth. So this is less about like creating to like make money or all these things, but it's like creating to process, right? Art and creativity are one of the most potent places for us to process our feelings, our emotions, to process the world around us. That's why art is so needed in times of unrest and what we're going through. It's helping the collective process what we're feeling. And I feel like as a Pisces rising, you might be tapping into a few of the collective pieces around this energy as well. So you might be a sort of channel for some of these things that don't really belong to you, but maybe you feel one part of, right? So just listen to that discernment. But I feel like it's sort of like I keep seeing being lit up like through the voice, through the inner part of your body and this light coming out of your voice. So I just feel like it's like maybe you might just need to say something about it. Even if it's a collective thing, you're like, I don't want to create a whole art piece, but maybe I just want to make a tweet about it or something like that, right? Like I think there's going to be a lot for you to say, a lot for you to express, a lot for you to step into. And I feel that this feels like a multi-step process. Like the first part is expressing and clearing out, and then the second part will be that like fertile ground for you to think about like what are my desires, what are my passions now that I've cleared out this gunk kind of like in the way of me listening to my desires and my passions and for me from create connecting to my full creative joy. And that's where like the inner child healing may come into play as well.
Yes.
Yeah. How do you
Yeah,
feel?
I'm actually really looking forward to this Mercury retrograde for exactly this time to pause, to slow down, reconnect with that feeling of playfulness and joy and creativity. I have so many creative projects that I have just put on the back burner, and I'm already feeling intuitively
Mm.
like this Mercury retrograde is going to be a revision of some of these
Mhm.
projects of like, hey, hello, come back to this,
Mm.
work on this. And again, it's not for just like the money part of it,
Yeah.
but for like true nourishment.
Yeah.
Because having Cancer in our fifth house, our connection to playfulness and creativity and even sexuality, sexual expression, it's meant to feel nourishing with that Cancer energy in the fifth house. So
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it. I feel like it's going to be so deeply healing for my inner child, which is why I feel like I was personally feeling into that, like on a collective level, but also just
Yeah.
for me personally with this transit impacting my fifth house.
Yeah.
And we do have Lindsay, so my fellow magical, otherworldly Pisces rising here with your chart. So
Hmm.
Lindsay has a
South
south
Node.
node in Cancer, which we've talked about, like the same thing, Lindsay, around this Mercury retrograde bringing up this revision of creative gifts. So I know we've talked about
Mm.
music, so like that piece
Mm.
coming up for you. So that could be really strong. And what's so interesting that I'm noticing with this Mercury retrograde, it's happening in an opposition to Black Moon Lilith in your Capricorn 11th house. And this is
Mm.
also something we've talked a lot about because your North Node is also here, and you got a stellium with your Sun, with Neptune, with Uranus, or the
Jeez.
millennial conjunction. But especially the Black Moon Lilith
Yeah.
piece feels so, so, so strong
Hmm.
around when you can just be in the joy, the nurturance of the creativity and the playfulness and the happiness, that being this medicine, then it invites in the aligned community. Because with Black Moon Lilith in the 11th house, like this is community that is meant to feel raw, primal, wild. Like you can be your full, like most taboo, authentic self. Like that is what Lilith in the 11th house brings up. And again, it's part of your soul's evolution to cultivate that aligned community with the North Node here.
I was seeing with the Black Moon Lilith, like someone accusing you of something, someone trying to take you down in your reputation. And you maybe it's tied to your past life wounds or something like that. So I just feel like just be aware of that. It's more that they're showing you that like they're giving you this gift of knowing that someone might like I just kept seeing someone like pointing and like yelling and like like almost like she's a witch, like something like that. And so I feel like it's i- if it were to happen without this foresight, it would scare you, is sort of what Spirit is saying. And then you might be like, oh my God, am I this? Like all these things. And I feel like it's more that you need to embrace this Lilith energy of like, you can perceive me this way, but that's not how I receive this. Like I don't want to take on this role. I don't want to be this like demonized, kind of energy that Lilith has in history. And so I feel like it's for you to really see like why are they creating this narrative around me. That speaks volumes to me. That lets me know who they truly are and what they truly care about, and I need to act accordingly. It might be someone who you've had multiple lifetimes with or you've interacted with in a past life with your South Node here. So it might just be a moment for you, like the Cancer, the past coming back. It's like the really past coming back for you, right? Like the other lifetimes I don't even know all about coming back so that you can be like, done, I'm over this. It's closed once and for all is kind of the vibe that I feel. It might not feel like exactly like that, but that's where they want you to think about.
Hmm. Interesting. Because I I also feel like with the trine that the Mercury retrograde is making to, she's got Venus
Mm-hmm.
and Pluto up here in her Scorpio
Transformation.
ninth house. Like maybe with what you're feeling into with the community relationship dynamics and that opposition, like maybe there will be some kind of emotional healing that happens
Yeah.
from that wound or pain point
Yeah.
coming up to the surface
Like maybe
because
they're like, you're a witch, and you're like, that's right, I am a witch. And what? Like something like
what?
that where you just take that on and you're like, I don't see this as bad. Why are you trying to paint me as this villain?
Oh my gosh, I love that.
Yeah. Okay. So now I know we went a little bit over, y'all,
Yeah,
but
we were going in.
yeah, we are going to do the meditation. So get a little cozy, closing your eyes. Tylen is gonna use her Mercury first house voice, to soothe your soul.
Yeah, get comfortable, lay down. If you want to grab any crystals, get a blankie. We're really working with this cozy Cancerian
Yeah.
medicine
If
right
you want to put
now.
your own meditation music on, you can. We're gonna work for the next circle to like have the music playing through here.
Yes.
We didn't get there yet.
Yay. I'll also be uploading this so with music added, just so people can return to this as a tool and just have easy access to it. So yay. All right, everyone feeling nice and cozy. Let's drop in. So, welcome to this Mercury retrograde in Cancer Reiki infused meditation. So, in our Mercury retrograde in Cancer circle, we moved through so much information, and now we are going to bring it into the body. So I invite you to gently settle into this present moment. Allow yourself to become so comfortable now. Close your eyes, relax your jaw, soften your shoulders, and take a slow, deep breath in. And exhale softly. And again, breathing in peace and exhaling, feeling that peace in every cell of your body. Breathing in softly and breathing out with every breath. Allow yourself to drift deeper and deeper inward, deeper into stillness, deeper into softness, deeper into the sacred waters of your inner worlds. Let go and allow yourself to fully and completely rest here. Now, I invite you to gently imagine yourself standing by the ocean beneath a vast night sky illuminated by silver moonlight. The air is warm, the sand below your feet feels grounding and soothing, and before you stretches a beautiful shoreline beneath the stars. The ocean is calm, luminous, ancient. This is the great sea of Bina, the primordial waters of understanding, the womb of the Divine Mother, the sacred waters where wisdom is deeply felt And as you stand at the edge of these waters, you notice Mercury above you in the night sky, slowly flying with their feathered sandals. And you notice they are moving backwards, opening an invitation for you to listen more deeply to your intuition, to soften your pace, to reconnect with the emotional truths beneath the surface of your daily life. If Mercury has a message for you around how to utilize this transit of Mercury retrograde in Cancer, let that understanding gently land in your heart. Special guidance just for your soul. And as you gaze upon the ocean, you begin to notice gentle ripples of light moving across the water, memories, feelings, dreams, old versions of yourself rising softly from the subconscious. And as you continue softening your breath and relaxing here, just witness with deep compassion. Now, in the distance, you see three radiant figures approaching, carrying glowing golden cups, the energy of the Three of Cups. They welcome you lovingly into sacred connection, into remembrance, into emotional belonging. Feel their warmth surrounding you now. Allow yourself to receive support. Breathe into this love. Allow yourself to remember the medicine of safe connection, the medicine of laughter, the medicine of vulnerability, the medicine of being emotionally witnessed. Breathe into this and softly exhale, letting this activation settle into your body. And these beings now place their cups around you in a triangle of golden light, and you feel your heart soften. Any armor begins melting. Let it go. The nervous system unwinds. Relax here. And now your awareness gently moves upwards towards the center of the forehead, the yin aspect of the third eye. Begin to notice your intuition more clear, the softer, the more relaxed you become, the more you breathe, the more your intuition comes alive. And just rest here. Now, the laughter from the Three of Cups fades into a peaceful stillness. You find yourself sitting quietly beside the ocean, alone beneath the moon. Before you now appears the energy of the Four of Cups, a sacred pause, a moment of emotional reevaluation. And at first, you may notice old sadness here, old disappointment, old exhaustion, feelings you once pushed aside simply because life demanded you keep moving. But here, in this circle, in this meditation, there is no rush. You are safe to feel. Breathe into this safety and let yourself fully feel. And as you sit beside the waters, a luminous cup slowly emerges before you from the mist, an offering from spirit, an offering from your soul. And in this moment, ask yourself, what truly nourishes me? What genuinely nourishes my spirit? And allow the answer to arise naturally. Now, as moonlight expands across the sea, you feel an immense, loving presence surrounding you, the presence of Archangel Zachiel, ancient, still, wise. Zachiel stands behind you like a great cloak of indigo starlight, and you feel their energy wrapping around your mind, your nervous system, your emotional body, bringing spaciousness, bringing understanding, bringing peace. And Zachiel gently whispers, understanding ripens in sacred timing. Feel those words settling deeply into your spirit now. Now imagine the yin aspect of the third eye at the center of your forehead, glowing softly with silver indigo light. This light begins flowing through your entire body now, like cool moonlit water, relaxing your thoughts, relaxing your emotions, relaxing your nervous system, allowing you to fully and completely trust your inner knowing. And as Mercury continues its sacred retrograde journey across the sky, you realize this season is here to help you remember yourself, to help you reclaim emotional truth, to help you soften enough to receive wisdom, to help you release what no longer nourishes your spirit as you continue breathing. Sink deeper and deeper into safety. You are safe here. As you breathe in and out, you are safe here. Feeling the ocean, feeling the moonlight, feeling the presence of Bina and Zachiel surrounding you with wisdom and grace. Let yourself fully feel. We'll take one more beautiful breath in, soaking up all of this energy, this beautiful energy. And when you're ready, begin gently returning to your body, feeling the surface beneath you, feeling yourself grounded here and now, softly opening your eyes, carrying forward only the wisdom meant for you. May this Mercury retrograde be a season of deeper listening, emotional healing, and sacred understanding. Taking your time to gently come on back. And when you're ready, you can put in the chat how that meditation was for you, any key takeaways from the meditation, any messages that you received.
I got a lot of visuals.
Yeah.
Hi, you want to share, Jordan?
Yeah, I could share. I'm like re-entering the atmosphere, it feels like. Um, yeah, I got a lot of visuals too, and I think with the guidance from Mercury, I was seeing a dinosaur, and then and then well, oh shoot, it was I was seeing a dinosaur and which was kind of making me feel like it's like, oh yeah, that's right. Like it's something that's kind of been there for a while. And then it was this feeling like I was like, "Blah, blah, blah," like put that away, like don't look at that. And
Mm.
so it's like, and I think y'all mentioned the Chiron piece too. So I'm like, okay, this is probably gonna hurt a little bit, or like I'm probably gonna get a little bit triggered here. And but good, like it's good to have that foresight.
Yeah.
And then, but then he was showing me like a torch of just like sort of what I think about when you go down into like the underworld or something, like holding up
Mhm.
that torch to like light the way. So it's like, okay, we're just gonna go. And then, um, oh, and then Sekhmet came in at the end.
Yay.
Mm.
Sekhmet.
Yeah.
We love
So,
her.
mhm.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
love
Yeah.
that. That was a lot. I'm
It
so
was.
happy that you felt those visuals and also like the safety piece to look at what is ancient and old and just patterns resurfacing, not just from this lifetime, but from what you've carried with you.
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly what it felt like. It felt like it wasn't just from this lifetime alone. Like with the dinosaur, it's like that's been there for like longer than I'm even aware of for this lifetime. So it's like, ooh, so it's probably gonna hurt, but that's okay.
It's okay
Like,
because Sekhmet is the fierce mother,
mhm,
and she supports us in anchoring into this frequency of courage, especially
mhm.
to face what is painful and vulnerable.
Yeah,
So
Hmm, that's
it's
so
so
beautiful. That
beautiful.
yeah, maybe you can
Yeah,
work with her,
yeah,
especially if you're getting like triggered in the moments
yeah.
when it happens, can call
hmm,
upon her. Maybe if you don't already have a connection with her, build that before we start, and then when you're in it, you can just be like, "Hey, I need you."
yeah, totally, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh.
no, thank you.
Yeah, I got like so many visuals. I was getting like stars and hearts and they were like beaming them like in and then they were like showing like I was like sewing the collective third eye, like helping like heal it. Like it was like a lot of like this like star shape, but I was like drawing it over and over to like help heal the collective third eye. That was really interesting.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
My biggest message I got was that my creativity is like a sacred home space, and that my creative gifts are also creating nourishing home, safe environments for other people.
Hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
and I have my Mars there, and Mars in Cancer, so it kind of just felt like this like
Hmm.
motivation, this activation portal of yeah, continue with these creative projects because yes, like you're having fun doing them and it's joyous for you, but also
Yeah.
it creates home and sanctuary for other people. So that was my biggest.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. Does anyone else want to share? It's okay if you don't. You can just put in the chat too. And then
Oh, yeah, and
we'll,
there was like some goddess energy that was next to me, and she was
yeah.
sending this like salmon rose gold energy. I don't know who she
Ooh,
was, but she came in, and then when you were talking about the yin aspect of the third eye, I
yeah.
literally felt like I was like pulling like cords or things that were like wrapped
Yeah.
around the collective consciousness, like trying to pull them
Oh,
out for people. So that was
well,
cool. Yeah, it's okay if you don't want to share. You had visuals of eating.
no,
No,
totally.
you need
Especially
nourishment.
Cancer medicine.
Nourishment.
And in the second house as a transit for you. That's
Nourishment.
like your body physically receiving that response.
Yeah, they say like
Yeah.
if spirit gives you food in a meditation to eat it because it will nourish your spiritual body.
Yep.
So that's what you need is nourishment in your spiritual body in this moment.
Yep.
That's cool.
I love that.
Also, you could look up if the food stuck out to you. you can Google like the spiritual meaning
Mhm.
or, like certain herbs or things or foods are associated with certain emotions or certain energies. So maybe if it was a particular food that you're like, what the heck? Like it could have been, oh, you've been changing your diet. Okay, so this is the
Right.
nourishment for you, redoing that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could be ancestral foods or it could be like foods of significance. Like maybe if you Google it, there's some meaning, like they say like what certain foods look like is what organ they help in the body. Like oranges help our lungs and like carrots, like the slice looks like an eye, it helps our eyes and stuff like that. So it could be something like that that they're talking about with your change in your diet.
Hmm.
So yeah, not bad.
Yeah.
Nothing's bad.
We welcome it all.
Yeah, it's just
Cool.
information. Yeah.
Cool.
Well, if everybody feels complete, we are complete.
That was a lot we just shared. So we will
I know, and we went over by
go
like an hour.
rest to unmute.
Oh, okay. Oh, you didn't click on
Yeah.
it. Oh,
Wait,
oh, that was
what
weird.
just happened? Did I?
I don't think you got rid of her. No.
Okay.
Hi. Hello.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I'm like,
How was it for
that was
you?
so weird.
Maybe she'll come back.
Okay.
I don't think you got rid of her because all you do is like click.
Yeah.
So, okay. Please share, Ingrid.
Oh yeah, it was about the food.
Yeah.
So that was pretty interesting. And also because I've been changing my diet for the past months. It's been very different for me. Every time I try to like change, it was interesting the fact that I had that be part of like
Yeah.
really what's going on in my real life.
Yeah.
Yes. It's super exciting too to see how this Mercury retrograde will create even more shifts with a deeper alignment with the food that you're eating and how it's actually nourishing your physical
Mhm.
body.
Very much.
So, ooh,
I
love
feel like
it.
that's also like just a
Yeah.
good confirmation for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely for sure. Yeah, and I think I'm gonna keep up with what I've been doing lately.
Yeah. Yay.
Love this.
Cool.
This is so fun.
Yeah, I don't know what happened to
Yeah, I'm like,
it. We had two other
wait,
people join and then like dip out, so I don't know.
yeah.
We'll see. Yeah, so thanks for everyone for sharing.
Yes.
And yeah, we're going to close the circle space. So if you just want to take a little beat, close your eyes, put your hand over
Mhm.
your heart. If you feel called over your other hand over your throat or your third eye. Just sit in the gratitude for showing up for yourself. Not everybody in Western society wants to look at things before they become an issue. And you are here today looking at things way ahead of time so you can help yourself, so you can move through things, so you can be better, feel better, emote better, communicate better. And that's really important. And that's a big deal. So thank yourself first and foremost for taking this time to show up, for taking this time to learn and to expand on yourself, to expand on your knowledge, your astrology, your tarot, all the realms, all the spiritual knowledge. Thank whoever showed up for you today, if it was your ancestors, if it was your spirit team, if it was your God, whoever you believe in, the archangels that showed up for us today, all of the astrology planets that are showing up for us. You can thank them. And as you sit in this moment of gratitude, don't worry if there's a lot of information, a lot of thoughts, a lot of things. Just know that whatever comes for you, whatever comes through for you, especially during this Mercury retrograde transit, is exactly what you need, that you are in the right place at the right time. And if you don't know, the answers will eventually become clear to you. And you can trust in that divine timing, that divine knowing, that divine guidance, that you don't need to be scared. You don't need to worry about more than what is showing up in front of you, especially as you're slowing down. It will be so much easier to tap into that energy. And you can just send a little message to the future version of yourself from this moment here. A message of support, whatever comes to mind as the future version of you moves through Mercury in retrograde. You can take a deep breath as we close the circle space and open your eyes when you're ready.
Hmm. Circle is now closed.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you all so much for being here.
Yeah.
No, thank y'all. Thank you.
We'd love to hear how this Mercury retrograde
Thank you. I was
great for
very
you.
excited to
Okay.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yes. Go ahead.
Oh,
I think
okay.
we have a lag.
Yeah.
Like,
No, no worries. Yeah, so if you want to reach out to us, let us know how it went for you, if this was helpful for you. We're going to be doing again the one for Scorpio. We're going to be hosting like a bunch of classes over the next 6 months. The next one's Uranus and Gemini, so just keep an eye out for them.
Yay.
Yeah.
Yay. Thanks for being here.
Yeah.
Have a beautiful rest of your day, y'all.
Bye.
thank
Bye.
you. Have a good one.